I don't even got my lovely co-host on here. I'm sitting here like, what's going on? I wasn't even paying attention anyway, man.
I
Shout
wasn't
out to
either.
everybody. Yeah, well, I'm sitting up here starting it, and it's just me on the screen playing the music and everything or whatever. I tried to, change a few things, but anyway,
I saw you grooving. You were grooving. I was like, "Ooh, what's going on? Is he playing something good?"
I know, right? I know, right? Anyway, shout out to everybody tuned in. You know, it's your favorite guy, Jr. Wisdom, and my favorite co-host. You guys' favorite influencer, YouTuber, your favorite everything as well. The lovely Avery Woodley.
Hello.
Shout out to Avery. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. How are you doing this evening, Avery? By the way.
I am great as usual. I'm great. I'm also tired. I was sitting outside. I'm like a whole like I love vitamin D. I need to be outside. So like I was sitting outside for a few hours. Had a crazy workout earlier. Didn't sleep too well, but like I'm great. I'm pumped. I'm ready for this conversation. I'm ready for the call in. So how are you doing? How are you feeling? You guys, if you guys didn't know, he was a little bit under the weather. So how is your cough? How is everything?
You probably gonna hear it. It's 2 weeks. We're about 2 weeks later, and I still got a little cough here. But
Okay.
definitely, I'm gonna thug it out or whatever. You said you couldn't sleep. You said you couldn't sleep because I noticed you mentioned on the post you had took a little nap.
Yeah, I was tired. I did. Okay, so my version of a nap is me sitting still. Like I might not be asleep, right?
Yeah, just eyes shut.
It's
Yeah,
just me sitting still and resting and not doing anything. So
right.
yeah, like I don't sleep with the TV on. I don't sleep with lights on. I don't like falling asleep necessarily with the TV on unless I put it on a timer. Last night
Mm,
I was like reading some stuff about tonight's live and going through IG and stuff. So I actually fell asleep with my laptop open on the bed.
hmm
And I had one of the bedside table lamps on. And I woke up at 4 o'clock, like, what in the world? And I stayed up. So I've been up since 4:30 Central Time.
4:30 in the morning.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Well,
I tried to put a little concealer on and hide my puffiness. I actually threw on this mustard yellow dress as a distraction to distract everybody from any puffiness or exhausted look, I can't even talk. Exhaustion wearing on my face. I was like, you know
mhm.
what, maybe this will throw them off. So
Yeah.
like they don't even know that I look tired.
See, women, you ladies, you got your own psychology behind things, and I guess some of the ladies know better than others. You know how to
Yeah,
throw people off and detract them from certain things, or take their attention away. But that's shout out to
absolutely.
Avery for the mustard dress and basically drawing attention elsewhere.
Yes.
Anyway, but I'm glad that you're here and you made it. So without further ado,
Thank you.
guys, go ahead. As usual, we have a hot topic tonight. Some of this affects you guys personally in one way, shape, or form. If you're dating, if you've been married, where you live at, unless you're just from one of those homogenous countries that everybody looks the same. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, with that being said, man, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys subscribe to Avery's channel. It's also in the title of this video, and comment below where you guys are checking in from, where your age, sex, gender, whatever have you. We like to know where you guys are checking in from as well. And also, if you guys didn't know, this is a call-in show, so feel free to call in. The link
Call
is
in.
yeah, facts. The link is pinned in the chat. It's in blue. You can't miss it. So feel free to do that. Mods, shout out to the mods. Make sure you guys are reposting the link where people can call in, and there you have it, man. But if you guys don't know, we're talking about the hypocrisy of dating, marriage, or whatever between men and women that divest, that swirl, for lack of a better term. If you guys don't know what swirling is, it's when you're actually dating, someone of another race outside of your race. And many people tend to have issues with that, even though it's 2022. Sometimes it's considered taboo and things like that. But we're going to get into that from my perspective, from a male's perspective, and from Avery's perspective, from a woman's
Yes.
perspective. So just to jump right into it, Avery, when did you first hear about this swirling concept, or was it something that you grew up seeing a lot of, or how was that like for you growing up?
Okay, so I wouldn't say that I grew up seeing a lot of it, right? So
Right.
I actually grew up, I'm from St. Louis. I grew up in a predominantly white community. I
Okay.
did go to Catholics, and I was also like raised Catholic. I did go to a Catholic school up until 7th grade. Then I started going to public school.
Yeah.
Just to give you a little bit of, my background, because I'm sure
Mhm.
we'll get into it. But I think demographic and where you go to school also plays like a huge factor, right?
Right.
I did not grow up in a community where there were a lot of interracial, I would say, families. There were a
Mhm.
few, like at my school, and actually my godmother is white and my godfather was black. So
Oh.
my god sisters and god brothers were mixed, right? And then we did have a family on our street. So I never, the way I was raised, my parents didn't have a problem with it. They just kind of told us, whoever you end up with, I don't care if they're purple, as long as they treat you right.
Right.
So that was their take. And then I guess personally, I never really had a problem with it because of the community that I was in, right? And so
Mhm.
even once going to school and when it came to like dating and everything like that, usually the friendship groups were mixed. It was white guys and black girls, white girls and black guys. I had friends, guy friends that dated white girls all through high school. And I mean, that's just what it was. I did have like my takes on certain things when it comes to people dating outside of their race, which we'll get into,
Right.
right? But so I mean, I was around it at an early age, but it was never anything like, oh my God. And it was really honestly though, never spoke about. You know what I'm saying? Like my parents weren't like, don't bring home a white man. It was just like, I don't care who you bring home, as long as they treat you right. So that's my take. And obviously now, like, I'm 39, so I've had experience, I've gone through things, I've seen different perspectives and points to it. So what about you? I'm sure it started early. You started early on.
Hey, hey. I mean, listen. So if as I kind of said to you offline, I because you said you weren't aware of it. For
Hmm.
people who don't know, I am a product of the swirl movement, as many others are. My father is white, or was white, but is a white man. My mother's black.
Hmm.
So, and this kind of goes back like further than that. I think my grandfather is like was half white as well.
Okay.
But I saw this, growing up with my father, and like I said, I'm candid about my life. It's a movie.
Right.
My mother was a side chick for 20 something years. You know
Remember,
what I'm
oh
saying?
yeah, you did say
Yeah.
that. Uh-huh.
So even though she was married, for a lot of that time, her husband was like he was in and out of prison, and he became, later on in life, he had multiple sclerosis and he was disabled and ended
Hmm.
up in a veterans hospital.
Okay.
So but yeah, my mother was a career side, not I say career side chick. She was a career side chick for 20 years. And I basically, my father would come around once a week, come through, do his thing, head on out. So it was something I saw, but you have to understand also, unlike St. Louis, I don't know what St. Louis was like, or that particular part of St. Louis that you live in, that
Hmm.
from what you said, because I don't know the demographics. I always just
St.
thought,
Louis is segregated. St. Louis is Missouri is just extremely segregated.
right. I
Hmm.
always thought that St. Louis was like more of a black city. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Just me being on the outside, that's what I always thought.
Mhm.
But me growing up in South Carolina, and it was something that obviously was taboo, but definitely there wasn't many people that looked like me growing up. So
Right.
you would see couples here and there, but definitely walking into somewhere, with a white, you would more likely see a I want to say you'd more likely see a black man with a white woman, even though that's strange as it sounds, than a white man walking in somewhere with a black woman. You know what
Yes.
I mean? Because it's kind of like, bro, you like, we like growing up, we couldn't go in certain barbershops, and I keep in mind, I
Yeah.
was by the nineties, I was, me and you are the same age, so I was
Right.
what, 7 years old going into the nineties. You
Hmm.
couldn't go into certain barbershops. There's a scene in Forrest Gump. They filmed that in my town when they're in the barbershop or whatever like that.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a scene with some guys in there, but you couldn't go in certain barbershops. The skating rink, we had a skating ring. It was off limits if you were of color. And this
Mhm.
this is in the 90s.
In the 90s,
Yeah.
right.
So this is in South Carolina. So you would see it, but it was like it's one of those things that very few. You'd have certain white girls that you know who are down, as I call,
Yep.
or like I like to call having a, as I've said a long time ago, I use the term having a hood degree. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Yeah, they have a hood degree, and I see somebody said black women too difficult. We're gonna get into we're going to
We're
get
gonna get
into
into
all that.
all of that.
Yeah, all that difficult stuff. But yeah, we would see that, and we would be like, okay, this white girl, she's down. She likes the bros. She like
Mhm.
you could tell by the way even around now, you can tell whether she's working a certain job. We can pick up when a woman is into black men by the
Yes.
way she talks. Even if she doesn't have the sass and the she's trying to emulate what she believes a black woman is supposed to be like. You
Right.
can tell, okay, like whether she's at a restaurant, you'd be like, okay, yeah, she
Mhm.
likes black dudes. Okay, by the way she keeps her nails, hair, or whatever, because they go over the top when they try to do some of these things. You know what I'm saying? Just like
Right.
it's kind of weird. But so to answer your question, I know that was long winded.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, I saw it wasn't very freak. You didn't see a lot of it, but you knew it went on.
Mhm.
Like products of the swirl lifestyle, like myself, and the little town that I grew up in, it wasn't that many of us. So it was
Right.
kind of like, oh yeah, he's got a white. You know how they say in the South, he got a white daddy. Oh yeah, somebody or whatever. He's
Yep. He
something
got
like
some white in him somewhere. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. His bloodline has been tainted. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? So for sure. Shout out to I want to give a shout out to Will the Kingsman, $10 super chat, man. You stay
Thank
showing
you,
support.
Bill.
Appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? So you're saying so you grew up on your street, you had a mixed family
Mhm.
in the street. But other than that, it was just like don't they didn't your parents didn't care either way. They were more like, hey, you love who you love. If you
Yeah,
decide
you know
to
what? They
procreate with this person.
really never talked about it. And so what I'm saying is that it could be, excuse me, the area that I grew up in, right? Like my parents chose to buy a house and to build in a certain area. They
Mhm.
knew that it was a predominantly white community. They also knew that, from preschool to middle school that we were in we were in a Catholic school and it was a predominantly white Catholic school. I
Mhm.
had an Indian kid in my class, a Filipino girl. I had a boy that was mixed, and then it was one other black girl, including myself, right?
Right.
So that's what I was around. The only black people I was around in, like, I guess large groups for the longest was just my family. When the family would come
Mhm.
over for gatherings and, my cousins and my aunts and everything like that. Other than that, I wasn't sports teams, volleyball and soccer. It was still like within our parish or, kids I went to school with.
So you guys have parishes in Missouri?
Well, we did when it comes to like your Catholic parish, right? But not like that
Oh, my
city or
bad.
town.
Sorry,
It's not
sorry.
called a parish. But I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
like Louisiana, like a parish.
Louisiana.
But yeah,
Yeah.
when it comes to like your Catholic religion, yeah, you'd have parishes. So other than that, and then when it got to the age where, excuse me, when we were dating or whatever, when we got to the dating age, it
Yeah.
was kind of like we don't care what they are, but then also how could they say, oh, we only want you to date black boys when there weren't that many
Facts.
at my
Facts.
school. Now, once I started high school, middle school and high school, I went to public school, but the majority of the black kids that were within the school system, they were bused in from St. Louis City. So I grew up in the suburbs of St. Louis, like it's called Webster Groves, right? Um,
Okay.
so that's where I grew up. So then they were like bused in, but still that lived around me. There were a few in this one part of Webster that was back in the day. That's where the black people had to live across the railroad tracks. That's where my mom grew up, right? So it was
Got
an
it.
area that was only for blacks. My mom was one of the first kids to to integrate, her elementary school, her
Mm.
classroom. But still, like, it was those guys or whatever. But I was used to being around. So if I would have ended up with the white boyfriend, it wouldn't have been a shock just because of, once again, the demographic. Not
Mm,
because, not because like, oh, I have to date a white guy. So it
yeah.
was neither one was ever pushed on us, right? Because you do have some that will push you to one side, to the opposite side just because of their personal experience or certain beliefs that they have made up about the opposite of race. And they're like, oh, you have
Right.
to go to this side, which we'll talk about. But yeah, it was just kind of like, I remember my dad said, like, he said, purple. He said, I don't care as long as they keep their hands to themselves and, they treat you right. He said, if they break your heart, that's still none of my business. That's a part of life. He was like, but
Yeah,
as
I
long as
remember you
they put their
saying. I
hands
remember
on,
you saying that.
yeah, he was like,
Yeah.
as long as they don't put their hands on you, he was like, I don't care who it is.
I got a question for you though, but before we do, shout out to
Okay.
Saint Joe Bro for the 9.99 super chat. Much love
Thank
and,
you,
and
St. Joe,
respect to
bro.
you. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you. Guys, go ahead and hit the like button right now. Hit that like button. It's free. It doesn't cost you a thing. It's easy like Sunday morning and shoplifting. Also, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to Avery's channel. If you haven't tuned in, Avery is uncompromising in her opinion. If you guys don't know about her channel, it's a hit. I'm saying it's a hidden jewel to you if you don't know about it yet. So go ahead and
Thank you.
subscribe to her
I'm
channel,
feeling
especially if you're within this space, and you're not. She's not pandering to you dudes, but she is giving her opinion. Unlike there's other people in this community that they're pandering. She's just giving her opinion, on the way things are. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and check out her channel as well right now. Go ahead and take the time to do that. It's easy. It takes 2 seconds. So Avery, on your years on this wonderful earth, you're an attractive woman, positive. You grew up in a certain area. Have you ever dated outside of your race?
Not the
Obviously,
square face.
you're a
I'm
woman.
just kidding. I was
Your race
frozen.
being
I'm just playing.
your
Now,
race
when you
being
say dated,
yeah.
okay, so you guys, let's just clarify dated for this stream, right?
Let's
What
do
do
it.
you mean?
So when I say date, so have you ever been on a date? Well,
Yes.
I'll just put it like that. Have you ever been on a date with someone outside of your race?
Yes.
Okay. And was it was it more than once with the
Yes.
same person?
Oh, with the same person?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So what was it that in that point in time, what was it that made you go out on that date with some or made you consider? Did you look at them through that lens of they're just a person, or what was it at the time? What was your thought process in terms of that?
I was just like, black men are no good, white is right, right? No, I'm just kidding. Which is how some people believe, what some people believe. No, that's
Damn.
not it at all. I do not agree with that. I absolutely adore black men.
Right.
But we'll get to why I said that comment because I know people who believe that, and once they've had
Absolutely.
a failed or relationship with a black man or a relationship that ended, right? Um, they
Hmm.
decide, and you guys know we generalize when it comes to all
Absolutely.
black men are bad,
Absolutely.
right?
Well,
We'll get into all of that.
generalizations. To keep it funky though, generalizations are something that we do, and it's not like you shouldn't
Yes,
generalize, but it's based off experience. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
right. So, and we'll definitely get into that. But no, honestly, it was just because they were funny.
Hmm.
Um, and at first it didn't, it didn't start out like that. I actually knew them, and then it was like, hey, let's grab food. Okay, grab food, just talking, whatever, catching up. And then we went to dinner another time, and we hung out. So it wasn't. There was no other reason behind it than it was just like, okay, why not? We click, right? Like we click. We can laugh. We can talk about different things. We have some similar experiences or some things that we could connect with. So yeah, I mean, I've gone out with more, like more than one person that was outside of my race as
Right.
far as like dinner. Some of them may not have been multiple times. Like I had a friend before that was like, oh, I want you to meet my mentor and go out with them. And I met them, I went to dinner. It was at night.
So
I went to dinner.
let's stop you right there again. Back to the question you originally asked. What is considered a date? And this is for those of you watching, she's not a girl. This is a woman. Somebody asked, who is this girl? She's a woman. She's not a girl. I know
I'm 39.
yeah,
I'm a grown
but
woman.
she looks very young, but
Yeah.
she's a woman. But what is so now that I'm gonna ask you, being that you just said that, what do you consider a date? So if based off the examples you gave me, the lines can be blurred with what you just said,
Right.
Avery. So what do you is it like when did you know that the interest was known at that point? Because that's what I think defines a date.
Yeah.
When the
Okay.
interest is
So
known. Go ahead.
the initial one, yes. That I was just giving you that I went out with multiple times. At first, it was casual. I didn't, after that initial, like, hey, let's grab lunch. The first one was lunch, right? Hey, let's grab lunch. It wasn't
Yeah.
anything dressing up. It was completely impromptu. After that, 100% knew the interest was there.
Right.
Absolutely. And that I do consider a date. The other ones, like if I've met somebody, like, that somebody tried to hook me up with, and it was like, oh, it happened to be a white man. Or whatever they were.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily consider those dates.
Yeah.
But I knew throughout the evening or whatever, like, oh, the interest is there. They would have loved to continue to see me or to get to know me more. And with them, I just didn't, because I just wasn't interested. It had nothing to do with the color of their skin.
So, repeat that again. You said you just didn't because you weren't interested.
I wasn't interested in them personally, whether it was the conversation or anything like that. But
you mean if they invited you out again, or if they asked you?
Yeah, when it came to them inviting me out again, I just chose not to, and it wasn't based on the color of their skin. I just didn't feel anything. I was just like, nope. But I have felt, now, you guys, let's just be honest. I'm gonna be full transparency. I have been out with white men, and I went out with this one white guy, right? Had never met him before. It was almost like a blind date. I was kind of doing somebody like a favor. They were like, oh, my mentor's in town. I would love for you to meet him. I think, you guys might, connect or whatever. Went out with this guy, and I literally felt like he had a fetish for Black women.
Please expound, right? Avery. Please expound. I know you will, but please
expound. I'm going to. So when I was sitting there, okay, first of all, after the date, I have never felt dirtier I felt so dirty. And when I say dirty, I've been places where people have been drunk and tried to kiss me.
Yeah.
I've had guys grab on me, like really go over the top, cross the lines. This guy didn't do any of that, but based on the way he was looking at me and he was smelling me, which we're going to get to, right?
I like to smell women. I'm going to keep it funky. If that makes
sense. But no.
Go ahead.
Has anybody on here seen Silence of the Lambs? Think Hannibal Lecter. And when I repeated this to somebody, the next day, I actually told somebody, right? I told my old strength coach. He was like, oh, he was giving you Hannibal Lecter. And my strength coach was a white guy. And I was like, yes. He was just like,
the fava beans.
Yeah. He was just like, He kept doing that. He was like, oh, you're so... And he was like getting in close to me and smelling me. And then
you never smelled that cocoa butter before.
Then I remember, and I was just like, it was something that I was like, oh, he has a fetish for Black women, right?
You're not just Black woman, no. But go ahead. I'm sorry, but go ahead.
I felt like it was like, I literally felt like a piece of meat. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like he saw me as some African goddess, and it was like over sexualized, and he wasn't. But here's the thing. He wasn't like, oh, come back. He was in town. He did not live here. Very successful. Successful. Started something in Silicon Valley back in the day.
Right.
So that lets you know I did not care about that. I was like, I feel like you may take me and put me up in a room and never let me out. know? Then I remember I had on this strapless shirt. First of all, I haven't worn it since then. And at one point,
you had what? Dinner,
a strapless shirt.
And what you say after that?
He went.
You said something since then. You said you haven't worn one since then. Go ahead.
I haven't worn this particular shirt since then, right? So during the date or the dinner, he took his finger at one point and just circled his finger like on my shoulder, was making circles. And it was like, so when can I see you? And he was like, when will you come to New York? And he had like a penthouse in Tribeca, and I was just like thinking to myself, I am losing my appetite. I am grossed out. He was leaning so close to the table. And I remember I was sitting there like this.
So he was
I felt dirty.
Avery, so he was doing the circles on your shoulder?
I could not.
Yeah.
I was just like,
okay.
Oh my gosh. You know what I'm saying? It was the creepiest thing. And so I do have a problem with that, right? I was like, oh, I feel like I was targeted. Like he said, oh, I want this type of woman, right? Which everybody has their ideas
What did
of
he
what
say?
they
What did he
like.
say? What do you mean? What did he say?
It was something about him. I literally felt like I was on a date with Hannibal Lecter. I felt
So
like he
when you
would.
say but you just said just now, he said, I want this type of woman.
Well, no, I felt like he told his friend that, and she was like,
Okay,
"Oh, I have somebody for you." You know what I'm saying?
got you.
Like
So
I literally felt like
did he say anything explicitly Afrocentric, for lack of a better term? Did he say it? Like,
no.
okay, got you. I'm just asking because you know how when some women say, well, you're attractive for, or very. I love chocolate women, or I love, the cocoa butter smell, or
Oh no,
I love
I
your
think
hair.
that's fine,
Yeah,
right? I think that's fine, but it was something like it wasn't like, oh, this is just what I'm attracted to. A fetish is different. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want
yeah,
to necessarily feel like I'm a man's fetish, right? Because that means it's not just me. It means any black woman or any brown woman you're going to be like that with. It's different if you're like that with just me based on your physical attraction and your mental attraction and your emotional attraction. You're like, oh, she's mine. I have something out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want
yeah.
her. I felt like he could have been in a room where any woman, brown skin and black, a brown skin black woman was lined up and he would have been like, give them to me all. You know what I'm saying? It was that kind
Yeah,
of feeling.
yeah.
But he didn't cross the line with his conversation. But
Got you.
that breathing he was doing and the way he was smelling me and moaning, like,
How old was this gentleman?
I think he might have been in his 50s.
He was in his 50s.
He
Okay.
might have been in his 50s.
Okay.
Yeah. He might have been in his 50s. I went home and took a shower.
Facts.
Remember, he did try to kiss me. And I was just like,
He did?
yes. When he walked me to my car and he had just ate a dessert with some goat cheese. And goat cheese does not smell good. I was just like,
I love goat cheese, but yeah, that's yeah,
I was
definitely.
caught between a rock and a hard place. This was her mentor, and it was like a big deal. Like he was like a big deal. She had traveled some of the world with him, and I was just like, it's not even worth it. I am not.
So what did you do?
I got in my car and I left.
I
I
mean,
went home and
what
took
you do
a
when he
shower.
tried it? What did you do when he tried to kiss you?
I was doing this, like,
So what did he do when he did that? What did he do?
he was like leaning in.
So you basically was like, so when you basically backed off, he just backed off too, or he just
Yeah, he was trying to lean in. I was like, okay. I was like, get back to your, it was nice meeting you. Safe travels. And then he called her, I think that night maybe, or the next day, and was like, he was like, oh, she's so beautiful, this and this. He was like,
yeah,
I don't really think she was interested in me. Absolutely right, sir.
right,
Absolutely right.
right. So you didn't even know what he looked like. This was like a blind date for you.
I didn't know what he looked like. I didn't know he was white. I knew he was like in his 50s or whatever, but
Right.
I didn't know that, I felt like a smorgasbord. Like I literally felt like I was there's been a few other times I felt like I was at an auction and like they were like, yeah, give me her.
Well, I mentioned, I think I might have talked about this on another video with you, but what I know from my interaction with, and it's not just me, because I've interacted with men
Right.
from all different races, so I know what they are looking for based off of, as they say, locker room talk and things like that.
Right.
White men love, or they're attracted to black women who are fit, in shape, slim, their proportions, fit their body and things like that. They're very attracted to that type of black woman. And normally that's who you see white men, if they are to be with a black woman, that's who they normally are with. And this goes for celebrities, whoever. They are looking for this particular type of black woman, and she has an exotic look to her. And that's why these guys, they'll go to the Caribbean and go to be with these type of women, because that's where they'll find them in particular.
That
Not to
makes
say they don't go to Africa as well, but that's what they're looking for. They're looking for a black woman who's in shape, who takes care of herself. And there's no diss to black women, but that's what they're looking for.
I attract honestly a lot of men that are not black. Right. I don't know if people, when you say white, you're thinking like it doesn't matter if they're from like Poland, Ireland, wherever. I mean, I even get ones from like where like all over, but I do attract even here. Like when I travel, grocery store, it doesn't matter. I attract a lot of white men to the point to where other people point it out. Like my sons have pointed it out. I've had girlfriends that have pointed it out if I've been out with them. You know, we've tried, like, even if I was in Houston, one of my friends like, oh my gosh, like, and they pointed out.
They know. Yeah, women know for sure, but I know that for sure. If you take care of yourself, and like I said, this isn't a diss to all black women, but and not to say that all black women are looking for a white man, but a white man, you have a target on you from a white or any man's perspective. If you take care of yourself and you're fit and things like that, it's just that's just the way it is. So you've dated, and I know that what you gave an example of that.
Okay, so now go ahead and ask, JR. Go ahead and ask. What you want to ask something else?
No.
I mean, you can go. You can ask if I.
I mean, since you brought it up, why not? You know what I'm saying? I wasn't gonna like dead ass. I wasn't gonna ask you that, but like I have like I told you offline. I've talked to other women about that, and they said that it wasn't what they.
I actually have.
Yeah.
Yes, I have been intimate with a man that was not black.
And so I'm gonna ask you that because I'm not trying to get into it.
And I have done.
You have done what?
It.
Yeah. So do you like in terms of that? Who is, because somebody else asked me this like a couple weeks ago in reference to another race, and I was just like, damn, you think like that? Do you think that there's a difference between the intimacy, and I'm just talking about when I say intimacy, we all know what the definition of intimacy is. Doesn't mean sexual at all when it comes to intimacy, but that is, and what I'm asking you, that term is encompassing that the sex as well. So do you find a difference between that and your own race of a black man in terms of the intimacy or how said people conduct themselves?
Okay, so you know what I will say, and it's only that I have noticed, right? And the only reason I've noticed it is because I'm aware now. I used to be afraid of intimacy, right?
Yeah, you mentioned that several times.
I mentioned that several times. Anybody can have sex, but the intimacy, because it was me having to open up and be vulnerable, I was like, ugh. So like little stuff, hand holding, and I didn't like any of that.
Right.
But okay, so with that question being said, like being asked, now what I have noticed is that I do feel that more men outside of the black community are more intimate.
I keep hearing that shit. I keep hearing that. Go ahead.
And this is my logic, right? Because just like I also feel that more women outside of the black community are also more intimate and more affectionate. It's because of how we are raised. So you think intimacy is vulnerability. In order to like really have an intimate connection, you have to be able to open up to someone, right? You have to be vulnerable with them. You have to be close. Right. And that's something that we're not taught to do.
Why do you think that is?
Because we're not taught, we raise each other like soldiers, like robots almost.
I agree.
So it's a feeling. We don't want anything to get caught up in our, it's like we don't have time for emotions and feelings when you're black. You have to keep going. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep going, keep fighting, keep pushing, keep pressing. You don't have time to bend, break, cry, anything. Even when it comes time to celebrating something, not too long. You got to keep going because you're always working against something. So we don't have time to do that. We're not taught healthy emotions and feelings. And then that goes into the whole intimacy thing, right? So then when it comes to intimacy with somebody of the opposite sex, I feel like we both lack it. I feel like black men lack intimacy and black women lack intimacy. Once you get to a certain age, it's something that you have to deal with on your own and face, because it even interfere with my sex life, right? There was a certain level that I wouldn't allow myself to go to because I was disconnected from my body, right? My mind, body, and soul were disconnected. And also it was a trust thing. I didn't want a man at that point. I was scared to let a man take me to a level where I couldn't control my feelings and emotions in my body. I was like, oh no, you can have a piece of me, but you can't have all of me, right?
Yeah.
And also like the hugging and the kissing and holding each other. Who has time for that in the Black community? Usually people were working, people were tired, they had different shifts, and we don't do that. So we're not taught that. We don't see that, right? It's kind of like, it's not a norm to see people's parents in the Black community cuddled up on the couch.
Facts.
Right? Or holding hands and doing date night. Like now we see it more. I mean, people are talking about it more, maybe just because of social media. So yes, when it comes to, let's just say, going on a date with, with a man that was outside the Black community, the touching and I would say like a softness, right? Them being a little bit more, I can't, like they were alpha men, like they were men's men, but like a little bit of a softness when it came to me, and how they were like gentle, and how they, and how
It
they
makes you
were.
uncomfortable as a woman. If you haven't experienced that, it makes you
It
uncomfortable. Yeah,
absolutely. And now, I just understand that that's actually healthy and normal, right?
absolutely.
It's healthy and normal on both ends. So now, even as a Black woman, I am absolutely more affectionate. If I'm with a guy that I'm interested in or that I'm dating, I do want to sit on the same side of him as him when we're out to eat. I want to curl into him and lean into him. I want him to put his hand on my thigh, or I put my hand, like on his shoulder or whatever. Like I love that closeness. But before I was like, ugh, that's all needy, and this is this. If they need their space, no, like get all up. You know what I'm saying? Like I want that. Like when I'm with you, I want to be by you, even if we're not talking, right? Even if you're sitting there, like now if you're sitting there working, I'm not gonna be all on you, but yeah, like I want to curl up on you and and everything. Not when we're asleep. Don't touch me.
Don't touch you when you sleeping. I feel you. I don't like that shit either. Get your ass off me.
But
You get
like
hot quick.
the intimacy, just driving, listening to music, just a light touch on their thigh, or they're touching me. But yes, I felt like men outside the Black community were more in tune and felt comfortable being intimate. That's because with their emotions and feelings. And that's just because we're not taught it. You know what I'm saying? We are taught to run from all of that. And we're taught to guard our hearts. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
And it plays a whole part into that.
I'm glad you said that, and because you're spot on, and I think the people in the chat are definitely in agreement. Those who are of color definitely agree with you. I can tell you firsthand, I definitely agree with what you said. We never said, like, I was raised by a single mother, a Black woman, in a household where we never said I love you. Never. Never. 17. I moved out when I was 17. Never heard my mother tell me I love you, and I never said it to her. That's why even now to this day I can't say it to her because it feels uncomfortable. And that's weird.
That's your norm.
Yeah, and it's weird, she says it now cuz she's up mother be 70 here in a couple months.
Okay.
But it's weird for like she's saying it now and I'm just like, on text message. But what you say, like I talked to you offline. Like my ex-wife, I was with her for 10 years, and I told you she's not Black or whatever. My ex-wife, but their family, and even though she didn't come from that much of a good family, she was used to the affection and things like that, and I couldn't embrace that, which was one of my shortcomings as a man.
Right.
But when I went on to my next relationship, my next relationship after her was a Black woman, and I would do all the shit that you was talking about, right? Because of the relationship I had with her.
And she was probably like, ugh,
and she was like, I'm not. She told me that she was like, I'm not used to that. She was like, you're more intimate. You're more into. She was like, you like holding hands. You like doing all this kissing shit and all this stuff like that. And it's just like, it just feels like and I think Kevin, rest in peace, would say like the only time we really is when we get down to fucking in the bed. We just fucking in the bed and then we get out of it.
Meaningless
all that,
sex.
Yeah, sex. Yeah, we just creating kids. All the rest of that shit can and I hear other women. It's not just you. And that's why I said it was so important. I'm glad you said that from a woman's perspective. But I've heard other Black women, even within coaching sessions, them saying that Black men just aren't intimate. They aren't into all that. It's just like, I've heard a woman say basically when and I'm gonna just say when they're having sex, he's not even paying attention. It's just basically I'm just doing my thing, and I'm not even paying attention. And it's not no knock to my bros or anything, but this is something that she was telling me. She was just like, it's different.
It's a
Like,
disconnect, right?
yeah, it's a disconnect where he's just like, I'm just fucking right now, and that's just what it is. And I was just like, the conversation, and it's interesting, you know, and I'm glad I came into this space that I get to have these conversations
Absolutely.
with random women, just like you get to have conversations with random women and men
Mm-hmm.
as well. But just to hear, and I'm just like, is this really going on? And
Yeah.
the fact that you validated it, that this actually goes on, and that you felt that way, and I felt that way growing up in a black household where it wasn't like this is how you do it. And the shit that I did learn how to treat a woman or how to date a woman was shit that I was watching from other men in my neighborhood,
Right.
which wasn't the best way of doing things. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? How to
Mm-hmm.
pull a woman, how to talk to a woman, how to do these things, which we become accustomed to. And I think this is where a hang up comes in, which comes into another conversation of I want to treat a woman a certain way,
Yes.
which is an
Let's keep
issue.
it. Yes, we got to
Yeah,
say that. But it's
yeah,
true, right? And not
yeah.
to interrupt you, but I wanted to say this really quick because, I have,
Go
a
ahead. Yeah,
train.
yeah. I'm the same way. You gotta get the shit off. Go ahead.
But when you
Go ahead.
just said, that you were like that, and I was like that, and like I saw, what is that? Josiah said that he had affection, in his family. So in my household, we said told each other we loved each other, but we didn't talk about things between men and women, right? I feel like we don't talk about intimacy and sex and all of that between men and women in the Black community, or you just don't see it. So yes, my mom told us that she loved us. We hugged. My dad would tell us that he loved us. He would kiss us on our forehead, so I have that whole thing with like forehead kisses. We got all of that.
You
But then
got
when
all
it
that?
came, yep, I got that. But when it
Damn.
came between like the relationship and the intimacy that I would have seen modeled in a household between a man and a woman, I did not see that. I don't know if I ever saw my parents hold hands. I may have seen them like hug. We took family vacations together, right? We were the standard family. We would take a summer vacation, a big trip every summer, and like a road trip or fly somewhere. I would never see my parents. That's before like Airbnbs, right? So we'd be like in the same hotel room or whatever. I never saw them kiss, anything. So any of the
Mm.
little intimate touching that makes you feel uncomfortable, right? Which is why I've also said it's easier for some people to open their legs than it is to open their heart.
Right.
When I say
Right.
open their heart, I mean intimacy, right? It doesn't
Mm.
mean you have to be in love with that person, but all of that touching and feelings and being close, it's not natural. And so when it comes to interracial dating, to bring it back to that, you will hear, and let me know if you've heard this from some of your clients, you will hear, especially a lot of Black women who decide to date white men, well, he treats me like a princess, right? He's attentive. And it may not necessarily be money wise, because they may end up with somebody who makes the same amount or whatever as a Black man they were dating. But these women, I think, get to a point where they're almost starving for affection, right? And that feeling, and they're getting it from these men because they're more comfortable giving it. So it's little stuff like they may, like I was somewhere and I saw it was a lady, I don't know if we were like, if I was bowling or something, and she was with the white guy and he like got down and like tied her shoes, right? And I know some men do that for their women anyway. Some of that is just chivalry and just a man. But I've
Right.
heard some Black women say, "Oh, he treats me like a princess," and and it's the intimacy and it's that, kind of, it's almost like nurturing in a way, but from a man, and not like, you know, brushing their hair and stuff like that, but just the touching and, opening up in that vulnerability. Like they're tapping in to their feminine. Like the man has to tap into his feminine a little bit, because vulnerability and stuff like that is a feminine, that is a feminine trait. So they're tapping into that, even though they're still like a man, but they're tapping into that when it comes to them being in these relationships with women, and they're okay being intimate, and they're okay. I mean, they're okay with intimacy and they're okay with affection. I used to think public displays of affection was so gross. And I used to say that's what white people do.
I've heard that too. It's funny that
Right,
white
if
people
I'm
do
with
all
somebody,
that kissing, all that
put me
kissing
out,
shit.
because if I feel like it, we doing everything, almost everything in public.
Right. We getting
That's
it
just
in.
where I am now, because I'm like, oh, this is normal. This is healthy. Like, it's healthy. It's healthy love, or it's even if it's just healthy sexual chemistry or whatever. It's all normal and healthy. But for so long, I feel like, oh, don't do that, or why are people doing that? I'm like, oh, because they have blood running through their veins. It's actually
Right.
okay, you
Right.
know. But I used to think it was like, oh, that's what white women and white men do. That's what I do too now. So
Nah, I was like, I grew up around the same thing where that's white people shit. They do all that kissing and tongue kissing and
yeah,
all that PDA and all that shit like that. Like, no, I'm good. You know what I'm
yep.
saying? I'll pass on that. So I was thinking like,
So
what?
wait, really quick, I have a question. Have you ever been intimate with a white woman?
Damn, she went straight to the to the
Well,
white
because
woman.
you already said
Yeah,
your wife, right? Like,
right.
I even
So
I slept with a Hispanic guy when I was in college. Oh, maybe I shouldn't say that. I had a boyfriend in college, but you know what? To each his own. I cheated in college. Yes, I slept with a Hispanic guy when I was in college.
I'm not, I'm, I'm not that community that's holding it against you, Avery. So I don't care.
I was a cheater, pumpkin eater.
Yeah,
But
she's a cheater. She cheated on her boyfriend.
he was cheating too. It was like,
Yeah,
oh, whatever. We saw cheat. But
yeah.
yeah, have you ever been with a white woman?
So I've been with one white woman, and that was when I was like 18, 19
Okay.
at the time, and it's just my preference. It just wasn't for me. Like for some black men, I feel like like they feel like it's kryptonite, or a black or a white woman is like the greatest thing ever. And it's no knock to white women. Shout out to all the white women that are watching.
Absolutely.
It's
Right.
just not my preference
Mm-hmm.
in particular. Like I was with this one white woman, and it just wasn't my thing. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And that's just that. I have been with other races of women outside of
Right.
black women, but a white woman just wasn't my thing at
Because
the
it's almost
time.
more taboo and I'm not going to say, we talk about people dating, like interracial dating. It's not just a black and white thing, obviously, right? But still,
Mhm.
I do feel like it's almost more taboo if it's white and black. It's more, you may see black men, like you said before, like even in the South, black men with white women. I feel now you see more white men publicly out in
Yeah,
public with black women who are not just their side chick, because that was the thing, that black women were always kind of like the lady of the night for the white man. We were the fetish, we were their sexual fantasy and the exotic and all this kind of thing. But now you do see more white men with a black woman, the black
but
woman that they are taking to their work events, and that they are like out and about with, like, yes, this is my black queen, this is my whole black woman. I feel like now, I almost feel like it was a trend. I'm not gonna say anything. I do feel like sometimes it's a business arrangement, right? It's just kind of like I got the token wife, but
do you agree with this though? I mean, not agree with, but do you notice this
mhm,
that and this is something I feel like I've been on this earth long enough to notice. The bros aren't, unless they're like of a stature, which is something I'm gonna bring up as well, as far
yeah,
as entertainer, athlete, super high earner. They're with these basically fit and what appear to be feminine white women, in terms of that. But on the flip side, guys who are white women who are with some brothers, they tend to be overweight white women who basically, because white men, I don't care who you are, white men don't want overweight women. They don't want
they
thick
don't. That's a
women.
whole. Yep, they
They don't
sure
want
don't.
they don't want women with a fat ass. None of that. So they want a slim woman with a nice chest, a nice sized chest. That's the preference of a white man.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what your color is. So, in your opinion, have you seen this? Because I think it's more so that uh, a black man will be with whatever type of white woman. It doesn't matter. But a
Mm-hmm.
white man won't be with a overweight unless he's overweight for the most part. But for the most part, a white man's not going to be with an overweight black woman. He's going to be, and this kind of goes back to the conversation we were talking about earlier. Do you see more so of that? He's going to be with a black woman who's fit, who's basically fit, feminine, and attractive. He's not going to spend his time, if he does, waste his time.
Oh,
Even
I
with,
do
right.
definitely feel that, and I can't speak for every white man, right, that's with a black woman.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I see in day to day, what I have seen when I've traveled, what I see when they approach me, and now I actually do. Now, before, I would say that white men were more about like, oh, she has to have a nice rack, type of thing.
Right.
Maybe now, because everybody's getting these BBLs or whatever, I get white men that comment on my body all the time, right?
Yeah.
And on my backside, who are like, oh, now they want, and they want a girl that has an ass, like, oh, she has to have a nice ass, type of thing, but not big, right? They don't like all of that. It's a certain type of white man that wants a certain type of black woman.
Yeah.
Right now, if he grew up maybe in communities with a lot of us or whatever, yeah, he may be with the ones that, are bigger or thicker or that have like the extreme BBLs and all of that. But really, in a norm, the ones that I come across, and I'm not going to say your everyday white, not your everyday, but the white guys who may not be in hip hop culture or in certain areas, they don't want that. They do want the fit, feminine type of black woman. They don't want the black woman that's loud. They don't want the one that, is overweight or doesn't take care of himself. They are attracted to women who actually work out. Like, they want you to work out. They encourage you to work out. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, babe, why don't you go work out? You know what I'm saying? Like, I have clients that are black women. This is for my fitness clients and my personal feminine coaching clients. I have black women and I have white women, right? Excuse me. And when it comes to some of my clients, their guys want them to have a plumper backside. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to black men, and I hate, this is stereotypical, but certain black men do end up with certain types of black women. And it's like, with certain types of white women, it's like, they're not fit. They are the ones that are, larger, way larger, may not look a certain way, don't really take care of themselves, but they, they work, they help take care, they may take care of them or whatever. Now, when it comes to men, black men that may, and I hate to do this with the money thing, but are of a certain stature, like you said, they're not going to just be with any white woman. Mm-hmm. Like, she has to look a certain type of way.
Absolutely.
She has to take care of herself. She has to have something going on. And usually I've heard even black guys were like, well, because the black woman, excuse me.
You sound like me, Avery, but go ahead.
I know.
Let it out.
But they're like, well, the black women I'm around don't work out. Especially when it comes to some of the athletes. They're like, well, they don't work out, so I don't want to be around them. Like, I'm in the gym or I'm traveling and I'm here. These are the women I'm around. These are the women that I'm attracted to. And they're not. Because I've heard guys who were athletes say, hey, well, if I was around more black women, they were like, I spend so much of my time in the gym. Even growing up, right? I was in the gym. I was training. I was doing this. I played sports. I wasn't around a lot of black women. Yeah. Right. So in the gym, it was the white women. You know what I'm saying? Women. Working out, training, it was white women or women of other races. It wasn't us. They were like, if I saw a black woman that was fit or active and, doing all this stuff, of course I would have been attracted to her. And then it also depends on the schools they go to. You're at Ohio State, you're at Michigan State, you're at Iowa State. You know what I'm saying? Like, there aren't necessarily a lot of black women at those universities. Like, I went to Michigan State, right? It was thousands and thousands of people, maybe over 40,000. I forgot what the student population was then. Jeez. But still, the black community was under like 3%. Wow. So, it wasn't, I think, it depends. But no, I used to see, you do see a lot of black guys, certain black men that will be with white women. And then black women get upset, oh, she's big. She doesn't take care of herself. He just using her. He probably driving her car.
Right. Absolutely. These are things. I mean, that's true shit. And I'm glad you spoke on that because you see it for someone who's in the fitness industry
Hmm.
for sure. You speaking firsthand in terms of that, and I'm speaking from me being amongst men, being in from being in the army and other things like that to
Right,
know kind of like what certain demographics of men are looking for. You know what I
right.
mean? I just posted this up right here. This comment from Joseph Lacurto. As a white man, the black women I have dated all had amazing bodies with amazing butts and amazing. When they say amazing butts, and I think I'm going to speak for you on this, Joseph. You just mean a butt that's in shape. It doesn't have to be fat, like you said, Avery. Doesn't have to be a
Hmm.
fat ass. Just a woman who's in shape and takes care of her body. Amazing butts and amazing lips. That is part of the attraction to dating a black woman,
I
for
have heard
sure.
that, Joseph, about the lips. I've heard that with men. They're like, oh, her lips or whatever.
How can you kiss somebody who don't got lips? I mean, it's so
Yeah.
sexy. You know what I
Oh, you
mean?
know what else I've heard? Can we go there? Oh, I don't want this to get like to where it won't be posted. Maybe I should.
This is what this show is about, Avery. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna do that. We're gonna do whatever it is. You know what
Okay,
I'm
you guys, and we do have more serious things to talk about when it
saying?
comes to this, but I have also heard that the more pigmented your skin in certain things, the elasticity when
Yeah.
it
Right?
comes to
That's facts. Yeah.
you got this or you got this. I don't want to do all
Yeah,
that. So
right,
I've
right.
heard that too, that it's you
Right.
know,
I think melanin has a lot to do with certain things. I mean, I can't speak for all that, but that's a sound
I've heard
argument.
that.
You know what I mean? I had a woman ask me a question the other day. She probably watching right now too. Shout out to you if you watching. She asked me a question about is it damn, I can't remember what it was. I'm gonna probably shoot her a message after this to be like, if you can comment or text me if you watching right now on what that question you asked me about is being intimate with this particular race, is it like this? And I'm just like, damn, y'all really think like that? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But before I get to this next question, I don't want to miss anybody because I know we've been getting super chats here.
I don't know. I
Shout
was
out,
over here choking at one point, so I don't know what was going on. Sorry,
yeah,
guys. I'm like
yeah,
choking. I have these flowers by me, which I probably shouldn't have did, and I'm having a shoulder cramp for my workout. So I got all type of stuff going on. My
yeah.
bad.
No, you good, Avery. You good, Avery. I missed some things. Shout out to TJ Hannah. Putting a little something in the cup. Great breakdown on things going on in the community. You guys look great. I appreciate you.
Thank you, TJ.
Yeah, shout out to TJ. And then I think we had somebody else. Let me know if I missed Enos. I'm sorry if I messed your name up, Enos. Much respect and praise to you, Jay Wiz, my brother. Salute. Shout out to Avery too, man. Very insightful and gorgeous woman.
Thank
Yes,
you.
she is. Avery, she cold, ain't she? And
Thank you, guys.
make sure I miss. Yeah, I think that was everybody. So I see we got a few people waiting. I know we're not done yet. I don't know if you want to take some calls, we'll take some calls here,
Yeah,
Avery.
you know what I do want to say really quick. So, you guys know, I don't know if you guys know, I have sons. And when it comes to them dating, because they have asked me, when it comes to them dating, I am that mom. I have never, and I know some black moms are like, you better not bring no white girl home. I'm like, bring her home. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's like since I've evolved, because I see how a lot of, and I hate to say this, how a lot of black women are, but I see their daughters. And I ask my sons, one, well, we are in a predominantly white community, right? So obviously where they go to school, and they were like, well, no, the black girls at school have an attitude.
Mm.
I'm like, for what? They don't have no bills. They don't have this, and I'm not saying that they have, horrible home lives and they're coming to school and they're upset. I'm not talking about situations like that, but just regular stank attitudes, just because, right? And they are mimicking their mothers. So when you have black women who are hurt, right, and who generalize black men as no good and we don't need them, you pass that on to your daughters. Now, in passing that on to your daughters, these are your daughters that may be interacting with my sons, who I am raising up along with their fathers, right? And the other amazing male role models in their life, coaches and everything like that. I am raising them up to be a certain type of person. Their fathers are raising them up to be a certain type of man. I am working on myself as a woman because I want them to see certain things in me that they can find in a woman, right?
Yeah.
So in doing that, I am not raising them up to be disrespected and shitted on by your daughters just because they need to be with them because they're black. I do not. If my sons, I will never be like, oh, you need to be with a black girl or a black woman. You know, if she has this same mindset that the tribe of women around her, her mother, her aunts, her grandmother, if they all view black men as less than, I don't want them anywhere around my sons. I tell my sons, you go where you grow. Now, what you won't do is turn your back on black women just because you think all black women are troublesome, disrespectful, don't appreciate black men and those types of things, right? If you choose not to be with a black woman, do it because of personal reasons, right? Because of her character, because her morals, because she is disrespectful, because you do feel like she's challenging you and you just can't deal with her in a relationship. So I also make sure that my boys have healthy examples of whole black women around them and my girlfriends and stuff like that, so they can see that not all of us, because a lot of us are, you know, and a lot of what they will see does show us being combative, not valuing and appreciating black men. We see ourselves as queens, but we don't see you all as kings unless you're a hashtag, right? We get behind you when you become a hashtag and all of a sudden, oh, our black kings, our black brothers. But in everyday life, a lot of times we're shitting on you. We honestly are shitting on you. So I make sure that they do have good examples of black women as well, who they can see so they know all black women are not like that. But still, at the end of the day, go where you grow, because I'm not raising up my black sons and I know their fathers aren't. So another black woman can tear them down. Right. Okay, now we can carry on. I just wanted to
dope, for sure. No, I appreciate that. So I saw, well, you had one caller. Cool. I see you fell off just now. Before I bring on the first caller here, this is the question I know everybody has been wanting to know, and we want to get your perspective on Avery first and foremost.
Okay.
Somebody mentioned in the comments earlier, and I think this is what it comes to. Do you feel like black men venture out to other races because black women are hard to deal with?
1,000%.
Please expound.
Baby, we are tough. Tough as shoe leather. No, I get it. The more, now at one point I didn't get it. I didn't understand when black men said, when black men used to say like, oh, I don't date black women because X, Y, and Z, they're loud, they're ghetto. I used to be like, oh, no, we're not. You know, they're not all loud and ghetto, because I'm not that woman out in public, right? I'm not, hey girl, hey, what's up, bitch? Like, I don't do that, right? I cannot stand that. I don't like that voice. I don't like all that. Nah, I don't like that. So that's what I was thinking. Now, as I started to get my whole self together, you know, heal, deal, face with myself, connect to my feminine, become more of a woman and a whole woman, I was like, dang, I see why they don't really deal with us. It's not just because they all think that we're ghetto. It's because we are hard to deal with, because I have trouble dealing with black women. And even things I have recently posted on YouTube and on Instagram, my Instagram interaction following is a little bit larger. I've been on Instagram longer. The way black women, a lot of times, not all of them, because I have some amazing black women supporters, but initially the majority of them lash out, take everything personal. You know what I'm saying? They watch my videos, but they are not listening to what I say. They're listening ready to get on the defense, you know, call me pick-me's and I'm this and I'm trying to go viral and build my brand, not knowing anything about my past, not knowing that if I wanted to go viral, I could have been viral. But they're so defensive and they're so argumentative and they're still so hurt. And even when I was going through things, when I was healing, I realized that a lot of black women wanted to see me stay in that hurt space, in that victim mindset, because that's where they are. And I'm like, wait a minute, like, I don't want to be bitter and angry. And then also when it comes to working out, the looks that I get when I'm out wearing workout clothes, you guys, if you look at my page, I wear workout clothes 99% of the time, right? But the looks that I get from black women, a lot of times, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know what? That's why don't nobody want y'all. Like, And I hate to say that. And then once I got on YouTube, which I'm still new to YouTube, from you all, I heard like, oh, I didn't know there were Black women like this, and Black women like that, and Black women that hold themselves accountable, and Black women that talked about their failures and their F-ups and things they did wrong. And that's why I'm on here, right? Like, I've been all of those things that you guys seen a lot of Black women, not like the loud ratchet stuff, but like some of the things, the issues that we have, the combativeness, leading in their masculine. I have been all of those things. That's why I can relate and expound upon it. But I'm like, we are difficult because I can't even talk to the majority of you all about healing and accountability. I'm like, I don't know how you would date. Now you are hard to deal with. You are difficult to deal with. And yes, some Black men are difficult to deal with, right? But so are white men, so are Italian men, so are whatever. But the majority, let's just be honest, the majority, a lot of us are hard to deal with. And we make sure that at some moment we let you know that we don't need you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can see a woman that's all in love and she'll be like, but I don't need him. And I'm like, but who wants to come home to that? A man wants to come home to a woman who's like, I need you, I love you, I want you, that kind of stuff. And it goes both ways. But a lot of times, like, we're just like, we are definitely hard to deal with. Do you think we're hard to deal with, JR?
I think that there's a chip on the sleeve in terms of certain women, and it goes back to the conversation we had earlier of how you were raised. You're raised in a loving, 2-parent household where that's what you see.
Right.
You'll be more susceptible as opposed to having a chip on your shoulder, feeling that this person is going to hurt you. This man is going to hurt you. Once again, the only time we're going to interact is when we're in the bedroom. I feel like he's going to cheat. He's going to do these things, but I'm not going to leave him. So I feel like that's where it comes in at. And that's what turns some people off of. So I think the disconnect is being emotionally available or open to love and relationships. And the fact that it could happen, it is within the realm of possibilities that, hey, this could actually work. And if I give myself, because relationships is about giving, not about taking.
Yes.
At the end of the day. So if you can't give, then why are we in a relationship? If you can't give me your all, and I hear a lot of women, I see a lot of women on social media post that I'm afraid to do this. I'm just, I'm gonna guard my heart because this happened, so on and so forth. We don't want to hear that shit.
Yeah, they are operating out of fear. I don't know how to I don't know how to do this. It's like, I don't know what to tell you, because in any situation, somebody's gonna, I feel like this. None of us know how to do it. I didn't know how to do it. That's not an excuse. That is not an excuse. And we do that to you all when you all say, like, oh, I don't know about this. We're like, well, that's not an excuse. Just because your daddy was that way, you shouldn't be that way. But when we do it, it's okay. It's not okay. You better figure it out. And I had to figure it out. I was like, I don't like living like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel like a woman. Like, I want to know how to soften up. I want the intimacy. I want this. I want to be able to show my man that I want him and I need him, and like all of these things, and listen to understand and have healthy disagreements and all of that. So I definitely understand why some, Black men feel that way. And at one point, probably years ago, I would have argued like, nuh-uh. But now, since I feel like I call it being on the land of the living, right? Being a Black woman who's not guarded, who does not think all Black men are the root of evil, or that men are the root of evil. I call it now being on the land of the living once I've connected to my feminine and I have found my feminine power, and my divine feminine power within. And I still, like I said, I have gone out with the white guy. I have been intimate with the white guy. In college, I slept with a Hispanic guy. Love my Black men. You know what I'm saying? So like, if I was to ever end up with somebody outside of my race, it will never, ever be because I think Black men are no good, because I believe that Black men walk around their families, because I believe that you guys are, hold Black women back. I know that in my life, I have to be connected to Black men. I'm raising Black boys. My father is a Black man. The fathers of my children are Black men. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see you all's need and your value and your importance. So if I ever I'm just saying this. If I ever ended up with a white guy, it's not because I've turned my back on black men. It's just because that's just who I connected with, right? And I honestly don't see anything wrong with that when black men do it. But I know some people are like, oh, black men leave black women. But then we praise black women for dating outside of our race.
Before we get, we're going to get into that, Avery. I know we got a lot of people that called in. I'm going to bring them
let's go.
in
Let's
here.
do some call-ins.
You know what I'm saying? We go, because I know what was it we just said just now about the because I was listening to everything you were saying in terms of that last point, because I'm gonna write it down about black men dating outside the race. What were you say?
Right, that we, it's kind of, we're hypocrites when it comes to black men dating outside their race. We still have something to say about it, but when black women date outside of their race, it's praised. Well, from black women, you know what I'm saying? Black women will talk about black men who date outside of their race. But when black women date outside their race, they're like, yes, queen, get you a white man. Get you somebody that's going to worship the ground you walk on. Because these ain't about shit. That's how, that's literally like their thought process. When I got divorced, okay, we're going to do call-ins. We'll get to that. Don't worry about it.
You're good. I was just about to bring Calvin on. Calvin, hey, Calvin, I'm gonna give you a few seconds here while I tell everybody to get the likes up. I know Calvin has been waiting for a while, but I'm gonna bring on
Calvin.
if you don't come back on here, Calvin, the foot fetish player, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna shoot Calvin the text real quick. Anyway, guys, hit that like button. We need to get 100 likes on here. Y'all quit playing around. You know what I'm saying? Where we at with the likes? We got 60. Yo, it should be 100 likes. Hit that like button if you're in here right now, and if you're tuned in, quit playing around. Calvin, yo, go ahead and call back in, Calvin. I'm gonna go ahead and add you on. We're taking calls. You fell off. I just told you I was just about to add you. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, we're gonna bring on I Seen You Lit podcast. Talk to me. What's up, man? What's happening with you? Man or woman? I don't know who you are.
I'm a man, bro. My bad. I ain't came up as I'm still getting ready. I got another show to do tonight, but I've been on here with you before. Y'all we did the whole thing. Y'all helped me out with my relationship issue.
Oh, from Chicago?
Yeah.
Oh, you remember him, Avery, the brother from Chicago?
Player? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you?
What's good, man? I'm all right. How y'all doing?
Good.
All is well. What's on
y'all
your mind?
Touching nerves tonight, Avery. I don't know. You might be banned from the sister code after tonight.
Facts.
I'm already banned after a couple days ago.
Facts.
So yeah, the thing that I really wanted to touch on about the interracial dating thing, right? Because I can say for myself, I've lived in Kentucky and I've lived in Iowa, right? Two of the whitest places in America.
Facts. Absolutely.
My bad. And so I can say this: when I lived out there, now I've never been with a white woman. I've only been with black women, Puerto Ricans, and other ethnic women. And so but when I lived in Iowa specifically, more so than Kentucky, I knew about, let's just say about 6 black guys, because the town I lived in, we were the only black family there. And then the town over where everybody else was at, it was a few black people, but not no more than maybe about 50 or 60, right? But I only knew about 6 or 7 of the brothers. And out of those 6 or 7 brothers, 2 of them were with sisters, and the other ones were with white women. And I can say without a shadow of a doubt or any hesitation that the brothers that was with the white women were generally more peaceful. Like it was really weird to see it because I had never seen it up close like that. Chicago is very segregated.
Right.
So unless you just hang around or be where white people at, you probably don't really socialize with white people.
Right.
So being out there, when I'm seeing these guys, I'm just seeing the difference. You know, back then, this was 2014 when I first moved out there. I wasn't really calling it femininity versus aggression, right? I was just looking at it like black versus white. Now I know better. You see what I'm saying? Now I know, okay, it's a difference between the femininity and aggression, upbringing, and things of this nature. But what I can say for sure, for one specific couple, and this dude's girl was absolutely gorgeous. I'm not even gonna front. She was a light-skinned sister. She was built like everything you could have ever wanted. She had nice toes. I mean, she was beautiful, and she was a whole headache.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He couldn't walk out the house, you know what I'm saying, without her sweating him, calling his phone. We'd be at the gym hooping. It was a problem. But the guys that had the white girls, I mean, they would sit in the car and just wait for them to finish playing ball for 3-4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Without any complaints. Just sit out there and be on their phone or reading a book or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I know, you know, being in the YouTube space, everybody is talking, everybody is telling us what's going on and why we're that way. But I want to know if you all can speak specifically to why there is such a level of discord between Black men and Black women when it comes to relationships. Because I've seen Black men and Black women be friends and it not be the same discord. You understand what I'm saying? Like, get along very well, kick it very well, smoke, drink, hang out, roast people, just have a ball.
Yes.
But for some reason, when we enter into the relationships, the dynamics of the relationship change, the dynamics of the respect factor and all of that change. And I'm trying to wrap my head around why that may be.
Avery?
I relate to upbringing. I related to society, but really a lot of that stuff is rooted in us, right? So we're not taught that like well, yes, I'm young, but as a Black woman, I've heard other Black women say, well, I wasn't raised to go against Black men. It may not have been voiced outright like, oh, Black men are no good, but our bedtime fairy tale stories are a lot different. They're not the Cinderella stories. There's no Prince Charming, you know, it's on your own. If you want to make it, if you want to go far, go alone. You know what I'm saying? Don't get pregnant by no Black man, you know, by no man. And we know that then the parents and grandparents and aunts, whoever we're talking about, Black men, don't have a baby young, don't get caught up. You know, you need to get your education. You need to do this. You need to do this. The Black man will hold you down. And we really never saw, and I'm not saying me, right? Well, me too, but like we never really saw certain relationships, like healthy relationships between a lot of Black men and Black women. It is still extremely rare. I had friends who grew up in what I would consider healthy households. Parents loved each other, were affectionate, showed intimacy, hand holding, and all of that. That is very, very rare. Also, Black women are not necessarily raised to be women. We may be raised, depending if you were raised in a church, to be ladylike, sit with your legs crossed, wear stockings, you know, this kind of stuff. But a lot of times we are not raised to know how to love and respect our men, right? And a lot of us are raised in a combative kind of warrior stance. So then we can be friends, but when it's time to enter into a relationship with you and relinquish some of our control and to see you as our king and as the man and as the leader, we're like, oh no, because we see it as giving up our freedom and our independence and our voice and all of that. And we were raised, if you want to go far, you can't do it with a Black man. Damn. Right? Because he may hold you down. Even if you're not told that, you were shown that. If your mother is walking around the house, Black men ain't shit, and huffing and puffing under her breath at a young age, and you see her arguing and cussing and fighting with, you know, different men or with no man because she either ran him off or they're just not together, or, you know, he just wasn't a good man or good father figure and he just decided to leave for whatever reason. We don't forgive that. We can't get past that. Then their girlfriends can't get past it. And the other women that you're around can't get past it. So I know as a woman, I see a lot of it has started in the home. And then as you grow, the tribe of women you hang around. So if your friends are sitting up like, Black man ain't this, ain't that, and you can do bad all by yourself, you know what I'm saying? That type of mentality. And then the take me as I am mentality. I'm a strong Black woman. You should worship the ground that I walk on. I don't have to compromise with you. When, you know what I'm saying? I don't have to bend. I don't have to submit. I don't have to do these things. You end up in a relationship. You're on a battlefield. Like when you said that other men have peace, you're at home going to war with your partner. Somebody, with your partner, with your woman, with your mate, helpmate, whatever. It's it's a constant battle and a constant tug of war.
Mm.
And this is one of the things that, yeah, I think, and I don't disagree with anything that you said, but it's like while you were talking, I got to be honest, in my mind I'm thinking about the situations where I know where the women were side chicks. And they were so well behaved. That, you know what I mean? They had,
oh yeah, if you a side chick, you're gonna be well.
I got something to say, but go ahead. Yeah.
No, but that's what I was gonna say. Like, I don't like, so the man that you're with, you're combative, but the man that you're not really with, but with, for some reason you can maintain that relationship. Like, it's all confusing to me, because I would think, right? Well, I use myself as an example. I'm very emotional, right? I'm quick-tempered, but I'm that way with everybody. I'm that way with the police. I'm that way with supervisors. I'm that way with family. It doesn't matter. I don't pick and choose who I'm going to be that way. That's just how I am, right? And so I have to, well, maybe I'm not that way with my son, but that's a different story. But I'm just that way. Versus, okay, the women seem like they're picking and choosing who they're going to battle with. Like, I think I may have said this the last time when you all interviewed with me with my lady, we have conversations. I'm like, well, just behave with me the way that you behave at work. Because when you're at work and you're upset, you're not going all off and doing all this, no matter how bad they're upsetting you. But with me, there's no cap, right? So that's why I was thinking, like, when it comes to women that even deal with or that are in like the side piece type of situation, or you're just dealing with the guy, he hasn't yet picked you yet for some reason, you know what I'm saying?
Because they're playing.
The animosity and discord isn't there, but for some reason, when we make the decision to be together, unless we're horizontal, we can't get along.
Yeah.
But JR, you said you had something to say to the side piece side. I'm definitely interested in that.
Yeah, I think the side piece is a different dynamic. For one, you have to understand when you're around somebody constantly, you tend to devalue that person as opposed to somebody that you're not really around. Hence why you say, like, there's been guys that ask, like, women desire a man that's on his purpose, that is not always up in her face, is not always around her. Scarcity creates value. The more you're around and, you're sitting around the house and she's around the house all day, there's going to be some discontentment at a certain point. So I think the fact that with a side chick, she knows that she doesn't have access to you. Once again, scarcity creates value. So she's not going to treat you in the same manner as the one that she's under the roof with. Same thing with any relationship. With you constantly dealing with this person, and you related the whole job thing. That is absolutely correct. And it's something I say all the time. You have women that'll talk to you any kind of way, which is because you allow it, but they won't talk to their supervisor or their boss that same way. Which is an issue that a lot of men bring up. But it's because you allow it, and because you allow it, you also are enabling her at the same time. You're allowing. It's not that you have to be disrespectful back to her, but the fact that she knows that you will allow this to continue. You put her in a comfort zone where she's like, okay, I know I can talk shit to him. I can call him out his name. I can do this, that, and the third. Meanwhile, the side dude is basically like, it's just, he's satisfying this particular need. I really don't need him outside of that, because you're handling the things that the side dude isn't. Like, I had a woman tell me, which made a lot of sense a while back, is once a woman stops arguing with you, that's when you should be worried. You know what I'm saying? When she stops arguing with you, that's when you should be worried. Now, if she's constantly arguing with you, that means there's some emotional connection going on, which is what women have to have for you. They have to have an emotional connection. When she loses that, then you don't have her anymore. You know what I'm saying? That side dude, she may not be arguing with, and that's his, that can be looked at as the opposite, but she knows that she doesn't have to worry about that because it's a taboo relationship. It's exciting. It's something that shouldn't be going on. And she knows that she doesn't have to spend X amount of time with you. the time that we're spent, what are we arguing about? You're not picking me up on time. You're not being where you're supposed to be at. We already understand what it is. So that's why that thing tends to go on when it comes to that. It's temporary. It's issues in terms of spending time and presence and things like that. So I think that's where that issue comes in when it comes to the side chick dynamic and things like that. Even though some people, like I said, my mother was a career side chick. If she lived with my father, it probably would have been a different issue. But she was with she was dealing with my father for 20 plus years before he passed, but they weren't in each other's face. Hence why he probably wasn't fucking his wife. He probably couldn't stand his wife. You know what I'm saying? But he was married to his wife, but he was out in the streets running, staying away from home, and he still couldn't stand his wife. But I think people need to have that space from each other. They need to have understanding, communication. You can't, as a man, you cannot be up under a woman all day long because she's going to end up resenting you in that manner. She's gonna get tired of you. As much as a woman will say she wants to always cuddle with you, be up under you, that's because that lack of. Once you start giving her that, it's going to have the opposite effect. You know what a woman says she wants and what she emotionally responds to are two separate things. And that's the easiest way I can put it. You know what I mean? From my experience.
So one last thing, the scarcity creates value mindset, right? Is that age appropriate? Because when you were saying it, I was thinking about marriage, of course, and I'm saying to myself, well, what about people when they get married and they retire? You know what I'm saying? And I mean, that's pretty much what they doing most of the time is they just sitting up under each other. But I did recognize that that's a certain age group. 9 times out of 10, those people are early 50s, 60s, right? Maybe if you lucky 40s, if you started real early 18, you got into your career and you gave them 25 years, you might have been able to retire in your 40s. But like, I know I'm the type of person, my mindset right now is I'm trying to build things up. And I hate to say this because of what you just said. It's going to be embarrassing, but I'm trying to build things up so that I can spend as much time with my lady as I can.
Hey, if that's how you feel, man, I just feel like there's no expiration date on that. You know what I'm saying? I just think for anybody, you have to have your own individuality. And no matter, even up in age, you see certain couples, we know this, you've seen this, everybody watching this. You'll sit at it, if you do people watching, if you go in a mall or you go in a restaurant, you'll see an old couple sitting together. And I'm not saying this is particularly it, but they're retired and they're just either reading a newspaper and they're just sitting there. Whether it be they're sharing a moment, but they're not actively communicating with each other. I still feel like there's no expiration date. Whether you're young or you're up in age, you still have to have your own shit going on. You know what I'm saying? You can't be up under. It's just like growing up you don't want to be around your sisters and brothers all day long. It may be cool to a certain extent. You have to have that space. So I get what you're saying, and that may be something, but I'm pretty sure when it comes down to it, your girl or your wife or whoever it is, they don't want that same thing. You're a man at the end of the day, and I'm not. I think you're a few, 43, 44,
45.
45. You're 45. So I still feel like she still has to look at you in that aspect, like this guy why is this guy all up under me? You know what I'm saying? It's a turn off. Me personally, from my experience, it's a turn off for women if you're all up their ass all day long. You know
I was told that they like mystery.
So
I know I got to find a way
space.
to.
It's not just space. They want to know that you're out there doing your thing, even if you're fishing or you're pursuing your own dreams, that you're doing some shit. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's healthy in any relationship that you cannot make your partner or your spouse or whatever your end all and be all. You guys may have different interests. So if she wants to join a book club, and I don't know why I use the most random examples, but if she wants to join a book club, excuse me, and you like to go golfing with your guys, then sometimes you need to go golfing with you guys need that time away from each other, outside of the home away from each other, and even inside the home away from each other. It is, to me, is completely healthy. You need to be able to miss each other. It's the same thing, even as a parent with my kids. I don't know how people sit up with their kids 24/7 and they never have any adult time.
Facts.
I cannot stand it when I go places. They're like, "Oh, you can bring the kids." I'm like, "The hell I won't. The hell I am. I'm not bringing them." Like I am an active mother. I'm out there working out with them, practices, run them to practices, doing all this stuff, making fun activities for them at home. But I tap out. Like I'm just not that. It's like, okay, I got to disconnect, and it's healthy. I need to miss them. I need to be away from them. They need to be away from me. It is the same thing. It doesn't mean that you can't have moments where you guys are together. But usually a woman wants to lay up under the man. They don't want the man to lay up under them. Yeah. And to really quick before we get off, another reason why I think a lot of Black women are argumentative, and I know this for a fact when I was argumentative, goes back to us not being in tune with our emotions and feelings. So a lot of times when you get anger, it may be something else. We may be scared and we don't know how to voice it. You know what I'm saying? We're worried about something, we're stressed, but because we were never taught healthy emotions and how to voice them, it's always sweep everything under the rug. You don't talk about it. Don't put your business in the streets. So you're gonna get anger and short attitudes and lashing out as well. So that's one aspect to the arguing. And then the other aspect is a 100% lack of respect, right? It's different. We can be friends with you, but then it's like, oh, I got to respect you. I got to bow down to the Black man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's because of how the value people put on you when we were growing up. If people around us did not value the Black man, a lot of times growing up, these women are naturally not going to value you all. We don't see the crown on your head, right? Yeah. Unless we vow and something happens, then we see your crown just like we see our crown.
Thanks. Man, that's dope. That's dope as always, man. Y'all two got it rocking. JR, keep doing what you're doing, brother. We definitely appreciate you, bro. Keep mentoring us. Avery, keep doing what you're doing. But one of these days, I need y'all to talk about the women in the manosphere and whether or not it's actually a good look. Because I promise you, I did not see all of these women doing all of this accountability stuff when they weren't getting paid for it. So I've been thinking about doing a show myself on that, but I would definitely like to, have some experienced people. Y'all got more experience than me, so I would like to watch y'all first and take some notes. But I appreciate you, bro, for always opening up the panel for us, man. And we love y'all, man. Shout out to JR and Avery.
I appreciate you, man. Next time, bro. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for calling in.
All
right. Shout out to that brother right there. You know what I'm saying? We got a few more here in the queue waiting to come on. I think I know I didn't really answer his question. I mean, in terms of I know Calvin came back on. I see you, Calvin. You know what I'm saying? In terms of that whole friends concept, how you're better off as friends and things like that. I think I didn't really speak to that, but I feel like there's really no entitlement. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to when you're in a full blown relationship. Even though I feel like some women may feel like at a certain extent, and that's where the lines get blurred, where you feel like you have a certain entitlement to a guy friend, for lack of a better term, which I have my own thought process on whether men and women can be friends or not.
I think also, for Black women, when it comes like what he was saying, when it comes to Black women being able to be friends with a Black man and they get along and they can laugh and stuff, it's because it's a safe space, right?
Yeah.
So we aren't raised to not be able to interact with you all, but we're raised to think that when it comes to an intimate relationship, that is when you become our competition, right? That is when you see the back and forth. We are not raised to collaborate with you all in an intimate romantic relationship. So we may respect you in a friendship, but then it's like, once you open up to a Black man and give him your heart, you are allowing him to do you like the Black men did the women in your family who still can't get over it 30 years later. She's still upset Pookie left her 40 years ago and won't let it go. And now all Black men are like that. So I think that's also what it is as well.
I can definitely dig that. I can understand that.
I'm about to eat this Starburst real quick, guys. So
no, eat your Starburst. I'm a Starburst lover myself. Pink I'm pretty sure everybody loves pink. I don't know the flavor, but it's pink. But before we bring on Calvin, the next caller here, I know he's been up in here, and we got 5 callers here in the queue. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button, guys. We should be at 100 likes. Stop playing around with me. Stop being cheap.
Right.
You guys, we're not asking you for any bread. Just hit that like button. You're watching, so you find this interesting, and we're trying to come with more content. We're
Hit
trying
the
to be
like button, guys.
trying to be
Okay,
the
wait.
greatest. Yeah, trying to be the greatest show. This is the not trying to be. This is the greatest show on YouTube right now. But we're giving you the real. We're not coming with the BS. We're not coming with the tomfoolery.
And we're not doing it for a paycheck. I don't talk about accountability because of a paycheck. I'm in
right.
a hot ass mess.
Yeah,
And I
because we
still
not.
is
It's
in some areas.
facts. We appreciate the super chats and things like that. But this isn't. We're not like making all these incredible amounts of money for lying to y'all and holding people accountable. We're just giving we're just giving our thoughts on things. So shout
Just
out
the
to
real
everybody.
deal.
Real deal. So hit that like button. Let's run it up to 100, man. Quit playing around. So
I got
let's
my
go ahead.
water, girl.
Yeah. Oh, that's water, Avery.
Now this is water. Okay, so
Okay.
since you trying to put me out there, this was not water.
Okay. Say
Okay,
less.
low sugar. This was the kettle cucumber and mint or something with some ice, and then this is just water.
Oh man, that sounds like a what do you call it? Mojito. That sounds like a mojito.
Yeah, but it's the kettle one, cucumber and whatever, mint,
Right.
melon. Oh, when we get this
I've
show,
never had Kettle One. I've never had Kettle One, but I know
really,
what you're talking
and
about.
it's
Yeah.
really refreshing for the summer. It's low in sugar. I just really mix it with some ice. You could add like a splash of juice or some fresh fruit. This literally, I just turned into the Black Martha story, guys. No,
No, that's right.
but you
want
can
to
make
take
this a refreshing drink. Okay.
somebody said you need that Kevin Samuels Intermission song. You want to take a quick break, Avery?
Yeah, what kind of break? Am I like a dance break?
Yeah, we can do a dance break real quick for like 1 minute or so. You know what I'm saying? A
I'm
restroom
not
break.
getting up in this dress.
Why you ain't getting up in that dress?
Maybe this month. Nope.
You can turn the camera off. We'll play the music real quick, guys. We're gonna take a quick 1 to 2 minute intermission.
Okay, I'm gonna go fix it. I'm gonna go fix another drink.
Yeah, fix another drink. I'm doing the
I gotta
same.
get ready for our call-ins.
We're gonna bring some more call-ins. Calvin, I see you, man. I see you making some faces. Fix your face, foot fetish guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to bring your ass on, so relax. I see all y'all on here. So we're gonna play some music real quick. You guys vibe out, and we'll be right back. We're gonna take a little quick break and bring on our next caller. We got Calvin coming up. I see you, Big Girl Diary. Shout out to Big Girl Diary. Go ahead, baby. I see you. We got Cool in the chat. I don't see you, Cool. I don't know if you're dusty and you don't want to show your face. Lord Geotron, as usual. I see you, brother, live from VA. We bringing y'all up, but enjoy the music real quick. Somebody said we're gonna do a little Kevin Samuels. This is JR Wisdom. We're gonna play a little music real quick. So let's go ahead and do that, and let's get to it, man. We're gonna play my little music here. Hold on, can y'all hear the music? I didn't even ask. Can y'all hear the music? Hit one in the chat if you could hear the music. I don't want to be sitting there playing some music and the shit ain't playing. Hit one in the chat if y'all can hear the music. Somebody hit 2. Come on, man. Can you hear can you hear the music?
Am I supposed to be able to hear it?
No. I wasn't playing. I was playing it just now. Could you hear it just now when I was playing it?
No.
Let me try it right now. Hold on a second. I'm sitting up there. I didn't want to be playing some. Let me know if you can hear it right now. How about now?
No.
You can hear it now, though?
I can hear it. I don't think they can. Oh, they hear the music.
No, what I was saying was it going in and out? Because I was hitting pause. I was muting my mic. Was it steady, or did you hear me pausing it?
They said it was in and out, so they must have been paused.
Oh no, I'm asking you though.
Oh, I heard you pausing it.
Okay, got it. All right. So I just keep. I just thought it would be an echo, but I got you. Let me go ahead. I'll just play it through. Excuse me. Sorry. As long as it's not an echo, I just want to make sure. There we go.
Josiah, I'm not dancing.
All right. Yo. All right. So we're back. The reason why I was doing that, I didn't know if it was like playing, like if it was in and out, because I didn't want it to have like an echo going. So, we're back, everybody. Hit that like button. It's JR Wisdom and the lovely Avery Woodley. If you haven't, this is an incredible show. We haven't even gotten to the videos I was gonna play, but without further ado, I know the homie, the foot fetish connoisseur, the real big boss, Calvin, 1983, I think. You know what I'm saying? We about to bring him on. Talk to me, Calvin. What's happening with you? Big player?
Nothing much. I'm at my cousin's house and just, with family, just chilling, but I decided to just chill.
Yeah, what's on your mind tonight, brother?
I'm just gonna chime in, man. Great topic, as always. It's just I'm just listening and just my experiences, bad experiences. It's been, but it's just and some good, but it's like from my experience when it comes to melanated women, it didn't even matter if she came from a 2-parent home, and when she came from just because somebody comes from a 2-parent home don't mean it's perfect. Because it was very, I can say it was pretty toxic just hearing the horror stories. Even they had living in affluent neighborhood, had their first car, second car, and stuff, and they had money, and it's like even then you got the dysfunction. It's like it seems like it's just a culture. And a Jezebel spirit, this feminazi, I hate men. It's just more programming. I'm not saying that some of the stuff is not valid. I'm saying, to me, it's like all y'all can't have the same story of just trauma and failure. Because I always hear this, and even when I have my interviews with women, it's like, so you mean to tell me that all you came from a dysfunctional home? You probably did. But it's like the guy who's always been respectful. I think if somebody, because I've always been a nice guy, but I always been disrespected by black women, and I was the token black dude. And when I was growing up, it was just disrespect. I never did nothing to them, never tried to holler. But it seems like I got so much fire, it's just so much vitriol. But here they're messing with Pookies and Ray Rays who make them guys miserable. Or but who can get away with being, corny? Brad, Chan, and I just never. And it's like, despite even with Avery, what you were saying, but I'm like, I be thinking about it, but it's like I don't want to say it's BS, but it's just, to me, it's like I always say, but because from my experience, from what I observed, women could even be a Karen. Say you did something because she was just mad at you just because. And it's just like, because I see women crying public, but me as a man who had my grievances, I get canceled, I get called weak, gay, a man's not to. And it's always funny. The people always say a man's not to do such and such. They obviously ain't men because they do the total opposite, contradict themselves, or it's always a female telling me what a man is, but she don't have one. But I can't tell what a woman is. I'm like, shoot, I guess you might as well, but you need to get your feet done. Look at all ashy, crusty, and shoot. Some of these women who are aggressive got the most feminine looking feet. I just never understood that part. But it's just, to me, to chime in, it's like I getting so sick and tired, even on both sides, saying, "Well, I wasn't taught this." There's a lot of stuff that I wasn't taught, but I had to learn.
Absolutely. It's no excuse. It's no excuse. And you're right. I'm glad you said that. A 2-parent household does not mean it's a healthy home, right? You can have a 2-parent household that is broken and just as dysfunctional with money and everything like that. You're absolutely right. But it's something that a lot of us are not taught, but there is absolutely no excuse. There is no excuse. And that's when I'm saying now, like, women in their 30s and stuff like that. I made a video like how we are right now, Black women and women in general, depending if it's, feminist or, the movements or your upbringing or whatever. At this point, it's on you. We didn't know how to drive. We didn't know how to walk. You know what I'm saying? We didn't know how to read. We didn't know how to do it. When you get on jobs, you didn't learn how to do, you didn't know just how to do them. You went through training. You had to read, you had to apply it. When I work with my clients, women who are, interested in connecting to their feminine to attract not only men, but just abundance and everything like that, it's personal. It's all on them. It's very personal. And they have to be willing to sit in the mirror and open up. And we go through various exercises to do this. They have to unbecome so they can become. A lot of women of color, melanated women, need to completely unbecome. They're always talking about becoming and becoming. You have to unbecome before you can become. And they have to get rid of that mindset and almost like that brainwash, but it's almost just ingrained in us, right? You have to get rid of that. And you cannot love and respect a Black man.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut you off. Because I always, even looking at women in my family on both sides, because my dad's from Jamaica. So I got 2 different cultures. My mom's ADOS. And I noticed something that always stood out to me. I always heard women who are married, had their whole husbands, tell their daughters, granddaughters, all this feminism and all this other stuff, be a 304, be a thought, drop it like it's hot. And I was like, why would you teach them that? Mm-hmm. And it's like, but when it came to the men being put on game, would you call it, you need to tell him to respect women no matter what. I said, if I was my dad, I would say, no, I am not going to respect a ratchet, dusty, whole heifer. I don't care what color she is, because I got a little story, but I'm being female trying to Brian Banks me, she would try to get me for a statutory grape. And I never messed with these females. It was just, okay, I was a year older and stuff, but I saw a lot of guys from college hit with these same females. But guess what? She defended them because they were bred. I said, wait a minute. And there was I said, so wait a minute. You're going to try to rat me out on something and try to make up something. And they did do me dirty because, I'm a brother. But I see these guys, underage drink, drug, females too, but y'all want to sweep it under the rug. So that type of trauma means almost getting expelled, almost getting, dealing with the legalities. I mean, that's trauma. And so I had a trust issue because when you accuse somebody of harassment, I mean, as a man, it just ruins you. It's hard to get over on that, but there's no therapy for that. Even guys who are abused, not to get off, but it's all intertwined. Guys who have been inappropriately touched by grown women. It's hard to discuss, but you get emasculated for speaking out as a man, as a boy especially, but as a man. And it's just to me, it says you have a lot of Black men in general, who have pain themselves. Just like y'all have pain. But I would argue that when it comes to the women, it's like the pain is passed down. But one thing I never understood, the women who are quiet, the women who are feminine, despite her trauma, despite her issues, I was like, how come y'all don't listen to her, but you're going to sit with auntie who's bitter, who's unfeminine, who's a hizzo, 304. Why would y'all hang with her? I think there's an attraction to evil, because even when I look at guys back in the day, you know, I live in the affluent era, even arrogant Caucasian guys. I noticed that the more of an a-hole you was to girls, women, you get more play. And I was like, wait, but then they say they want a man who respects them, and then all of a sudden, I don't need no man, but I need protection. So it's just so much. I just think nobody, I'm not saying us, but I think in general, even in the spaces of the relationships with men and women, I think nobody wants to be honest with themselves. That's why they're not telling the whole thing. I don't expect everybody to tell all their whole business, but to me, nobody wants to be truly honest about themselves. They'll talk about what they went through, but they don't admit, yeah, I played a huge role in my failure, in my relationships. Mm-hmm. And talks about that, but really don't talk about that because you know, everybody got these egos. Everybody got these egos. And I would even say this too. And I think in Black culture, we're not taught Black pride. What is Black culture? And I'm not trying to. It's still still in the subject, but the fact that none of us knew our culture.
Need you to land that plane, Calvin? Hey, with the feet, land that plane with the feet. Hey, I need you to land that plane, brother. Yeah. Yes.
But I mean, to me, I think that stems for the lack of knowing of self. So that's what I'm.
Self-awareness. Mm-hmm.
You know. Shout out to you, Calvin, man. Hey, I appreciate you, man, calling in. I know you had to get some shit off your chest or off your feet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But all women of color are not Jezebels, Calvin. There may be some. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot, but just like all Black men, when women say all Black men are no good and aren't this and aren't that, I cannot stand that. Just because you had, you know, if you've had personal experience with some, that does not mean all are like that. All men, all Black men are not no good. I know. The majority of Black men I know are absolutely amazing. Amazing fathers, amazing providers. Are absolutely. I know more good Black men than I know no good Black men.
You prove on that aspect. Yeah. And the thing. I mean, now that whole pineapples video, but that's the thing. And I'm just saying, a lot of it's just to me, I think just being programmed, because I can judge people on the individual. I'm not on no, you know, I ain't gonna mention their names. Them two clowns talk about they don't dabble in the brown, but I had an issue with that. My thing is that because I can tell you, I've seen vicious, ratchet Caucasians, Asian chicks do the dirtiest. So I already know. So I'm not on that. To let you know, I ain't on that.
Oh yeah, there are, just like there's some no good white men, Italian men, and everything else. Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, look at the crime reports. Look at the shit. You look at the crime reports. The grass ain't always on the other side. Just to let y'all know.
It sure isn't. But we just lack accountability and self-awareness overall. You know, it's easier to stay hurt. It's easier for some people to stay hurt and to sit in their personal hell than it is for them to heal and take accountability.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Calvin, man, I appreciate you rocking with us tonight, man. Hey, appreciate your input as usual, bro. You know, you're always welcome, man.
All right, thank you, brother JR. I'm about to go check out with my cousin, hang out with my family, but it's great. Thank you for having me on as always.
Hey, go rub a lady's feet for me and tell her that I sent you.
You know I'm gonna do that this weekend.
All right.
Hey, Les.
Hey.
All right, bro. Later.
Okay.
Shout out to Calvin there. You know what I'm saying? I want to hear, you know, big girl diary. You know what I'm saying? I think you've been on here before.
Oh, yes.
But you know, I'm trying to hear what you got to say about this. I think it looks like you may have been on Squirrel Time somewhat once upon a time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to get some input from you. Talk to me, baby. Talk to me.
How are you? I'm Lottie Dottie. Remember me?
Absolutely.
Lottie Dottie. We like to party.
Don't call
I'm Big Girl Diary.
nobody. Yeah. Continue. Say less. Yeah.
Big Girl Diary is my channel, and also I have another channel, Politics with Laura. I came in real late, and when the gentleman was talking about why there is a level of discourse between a relationship between Black men and Black women, in relationships and with friendships, that's where I came in on. And and also with the other gentleman, the real big boss Calvin.
The foot rubber. Yeah.
Let me see. I'm a Gen Xer, as I said before.
Right.
And what he was saying, he was dropping a lot of dimes because my mom was one of those people who were saying, "Go get a job. You really can do more for yourself. You really don't need a man. You don't, you know." And I had that masculine energy. And I fell into feminism, which was the biggest, is what we are suffering from, Black women, what we are suffering from, feminism. It has nothing to do with us, right? There's a relationship between white men and white women. Let them battle it out. We have nothing to do with it. And what we should do as Black women is, women my age must stop judging the younger ones and bring you all in and say, hey, no, this is how you do it, and pass on our wisdom. And we have to most definitely stop beating up on men by telling them, oh, you ain't this, you ain't that. But we have to be honest, we knew he wasn't much to begin with when we got with him.
Absolutely.
So we got to stop that lying and stop and be accountable for what we do. And then if we do become 304s, and he was saying 304s and
Jezebels.
Thank you, Jezebels.
Lady of the night.
Lady of the night, baby.
Well, come on. Well, we have to be honest, because Black women, we drank the Kool-Aid. We drank the Kool-Aid willingly and became those things. We have to be honest about it. We became those Jezebels and 304s and having and working hard and playing hard more than a man, and then wonder why we have a hard time getting a man. We're out there. We have a higher, what is it called, a VIN number, higher than what we should. Yeah. Oh man, there's so many things I want to say, but I don't want to. Huh?
I say you hit him with the VIN number, huh? But yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah. I'm pro man. I do not do feminism. And one thing I wanted to say was, Avery.
Yes, ma'am.
I love you.
Oh my gosh, Lottie, I love you too.
I do. I love you. I wanted to add on a little bit to what you were saying, as far as women being masculine and healing. Yeah, we need to heal, but we need to heal as a group.
Yes.
And for me, I was masculine. I was married, and my ex-husband and I, he's from Nicaragua. Yeah, we clashed. But when I got with a Black man, he told me, he said, look, there's one man in this relationship, and it's not you. Absolutely. And when I found that strong man, I was able to get into my femininity.
That part, yes.
That's it. You need a man who's not going to take no smack.
Yep.
And us women, we really have to call out, man, I'm telling, ooh, some of these women,
baby,
man, woo, they've been a lot. Look, we have to stop women from jumping in men's face, acting like they're a man. And then once they get dealt with like a man, then it's like, no, I'm a woman. What is it? You're being a hypocrite. Yes. What is it? Are you a man or are you a woman?
Well, then they want to run into the victim, right? And it messes it up. And that I remember I was talking to this guy, and I knew I hung up on him. And first of all, I knew not to hang up on him, but I hung up on him. And when I hung up, I was counting in my head. I was like, oh, he is about to be knocking on this door in like 5, 4, 3. And he said, he was like, girl, let me tell you something. Don't you ever but I knew it, right? Because that's not how we ran our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew, I was like, oh, he's about to be hot as fish grease.
Mhm.
And I was waiting for him. I was looking out the window like, oh my God, when is he coming? Because he didn't tolerate that. And I was laughing. He said, but he had to talk himself down because he really was in a mood and he was starting some stuff. You know, he was starting some stuff. So I was just like, but it was disrespectful, right? It was completely disrespectful. But, and that's what I understand what you're saying. When we go out and we challenge these men, and then we want to be like, oh my God, how did you step into him like a man?
Mhm.
So,
And Jr.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
want to say something to you about the side chicks.
Talk to me, beloved. Talk to
Oh,
me.
oh, you're so good for my ego. I'm so
That's why
silly.
I'm here. You're supposed to make a woman feel special. But go ahead.
Oh my goodness, I'm so silly.
You know you married, but yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, yeah, sort of. We've been together for a long time. I
You know
have.
when the women start, copping pleas, talking about well, sort of, like
No. He asked me.
come to the house. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Don't
No,
cut.
no. He asked me, but I'm like, I like it the way it is.
Got you.
I
I feel
love
you.
him.
I completely understand. You say less. I completely understand what you're talking about. But go ahead. Yeah.
All right. Side chicks.
Mm-hmm.
I have a play sister, and she liked being the side chick because she did not have to have the pressure of having a full relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and she would be with him whenever she wanted to be or whenever they wanted to be together. And as long as he was with his wife, that was okay. And I just
Yeah.
was like, girl, you make no sense at all. You need to get your own man and stop doing that. But she did that for years. When she got married, all of a sudden she was paranoid. And I'm like, you, a lot of this is coming back on you as far as what you did. But side chicks like being side chicks. They like the gifts. They like being taken care of. They like everything. Wait a minute, let me backtrack for a second. They
You're right.
like they like all of the positivities that come with it because you're like a second wife without having all the issues.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. And ladies, we need to stop that. We gotta stop that. Don't
I
bust
think
up people's
I
homes.
think and there's a lot of women who are side chicks, and there's this whole polygamy conversation
Hmm.
or poly conversation that comes with this. But everything you said, even though it sounds crazy to you, it may be bliss to someone else or bliss to this woman. The fact that she gets quote unquote the positives and doesn't have to deal with the negatives. So when some of these guys are like, I want to leave my wife to be with you, they're like,
Hmm.
just like what you just said with why would you want to marry me? It's good. I'm not saying exactly that's the same thing, but you're like, bro, what we got right now is good. I don't want to get married right now because you feel that way, right? That's what you said, right? So that's the way some women feel about it. We got all this shit. I got gifts. We don't argue. You show me a good time. You take me out or whatever. I don't have to deal with the interpersonal bullshit that goes on at home. I don't have to wash your drawers. I don't have to do none of that stuff. Uh, but we have a good time when we're together. Why would I want to mess that up? Plus, I have the freedom of entertaining other men if I see fit because you're with your guy. So there's certainty, which I know it sounds weird. There's certainty with being a side chick.
Hmm.
And I know that sounds weird as fuck by me saying that. But there is certainty in being a side chick as opposed to what you just said. Once you're married to this dude, it's just like you would think that there's a certain amount of certainty, but you don't know. You kind of know what it is. You already all the fears are out the window when you're a side chick.
Hmm.
Right? All the fears are out of the window, out the window. Like I already know he's fucking somebody else. I already know he's laying down with this woman at night. All that stuff is there, so I understand. That's why I say like I live by me being divorced, a man that's been divorced and things like that. I take people at face value. You know what I'm saying? if that's what you want to do, it is what it is. If you want to live that life, if we come to an agreement and things like that, that's completely different. But people are going to be people. You know what I'm saying? That whole karma thing you're talking about, that is real.
Yeah.
When you're fucking with somebody that's you're fucking with a married woman or a married man, you know what you've been doing. So when you do decide to walk down that aisle, what if they do this? I know I've been doing this all my life for X amount of years. I've been, i.e., my mom, side chick for 20 years. She decides to get married. This dude's fucking somebody, fucking 2 or 3 women. So I definitely agree, but I just feel that with side chicks, there's a level of certainty and they know what to expect at the end of the day.
Can I add on to something what you're saying
Absolutely. That's why you're here. Go ahead. Yeah.
that you're missing? Now, one thing about side chicks is that she knows he's with his wife.
Absolutely.
Here's the interesting part. When he gets another side chick, she blew up.
She's still in the same position though.
Uh-uh. No, she is a side chick. Just listen.
Go ahead.
She is a side chick. He has a wife and her, but he's sneaking around with someone else without her knowing. He only knew about her and his wife. He brings somebody else into the situation, and then he left her and his wife for that woman.
Mm-hmm.
So it was interesting. It was really interesting, and I've seen a lot of that, especially being here in DC. There's a lot of.
I was about
You need to do a show on that.
I was about to ask you. I was about to like, do you live in Baltimore? I hear them sirens and shit going off out there. I was like, where you live at?
Man, I live on the Strip. I live not too far from the White House.
Say less. Say less.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
I know where you at because I'm about to say, damn, where she live at? Damn.
Yeah, I figured it was something like that. But Lottie Dottie, you're right. We need to do a show on side chicks because I know some chicks that have been side chicks, and then when he gets another side chick, it's like, oh, he's cheating on her, right?
Isn't that strange though? Isn't that? But I get it.
And JR, you're also right. It's a safe space. The fear goes out the window. A lot of women are side chicks because it's a safe space. The fears and the vulnerability, it's different being on the side than, okay, now we're in a home together. They don't know how to operate in that space. They're afraid. Like when you see women, they're like, oh, I'm afraid to do this. I'm afraid to do that. They are afraid. They feel like they still have some control when they are a side chick. But technically, when you completely open up with someone and you're committed to them, you are supposed to, they do have the power to hurt you. They absolutely have the power to hurt you, but that's life. You know what I'm saying? And that's the part we need to get to. That's life, and you can't operate out of fear, but it is a safe space. And Lottie Dottie, I agree with you as well, that when the man gets another side chick, it's like, wait a minute, because now it's like another woman that is going to be getting the gifts, getting the trips, getting some of that stuff, right? So now it's split up. It's like, no, the wife is cool. You have to be okay with that, right? But not the other way. And JR, you're right. Karma is real. I was always told you will lose them how you get them.
Facts.
Yes.
Indeed.
You will lose them how you get them. I'll be damned if you think you're gonna be a side chick and you're gonna get with that man, he's gonna be faithful to you. Unless something just hurts, you can't be, and then you're sitting up on pins and needles. Absolutely, because you've been in the other shoes. You're watching the calls, you're watching the text messages. Did he really go to the gym? You're doing all that stuff. You were living in fear.
And one last thing, and I'm going to go ahead and go, and that is there are, what is it, like 9 women to 1 man. That's scary. It's scary. I'm going to be
I'm gonna probably be a side chick. No.
Oh, stop it, JR. Stop it. Shame on you. Shame.
Hey, I'm putting out a video tomorrow that's going to blow your mind. But go ahead.
Oh my gosh.
It's in
Don't
reference
tell
to
people
exactly
I'm your
what y'all
side
talking
chick.
about.
No, I'm not. That's a complete joke.
It's about women settling for a gay man. But go ahead.
Oh.
I've talked about it before, but this is the reality. This is going to become a reality right now.
It is the reality. Yeah. I know some, and I'm like, your man is lighting the loafers.
Right.
Woo. That download stuff is. When will you be live streaming? Because I could comment on some of that stuff.
Not live stream. I already uploaded it. I'm just finishing up.
Okay, we might need to do a live on that, JR, because I know some women. I'm like, girl, you know your husband got some sugar in his tank, but they're okay with that.
It's sweet like candy. You can get him. You can get the brother now or later. Say less.
Because you have more women to men, and women are going to say, okay, I'm going to
No, they're
accept this. That
overlooking.
means
A
I
lot
have
of
some.
times, you're overlooking good men, and I will always say that women will overlook good men or just an average dude. You know what I'm
I've
Right.
done
saying?
that.
Yeah.
We've
I've
all
done
done
that.
it. And then say there's no good men. I've done something on
Oh,
that. Oh, there's no good men. And they're like, ma'am, right here. No, I'm scared.
well, no,
Right.
those women who say there are no good men, they have a high VIN number. I
Mhm.
know there are good men, and I
There are
passed
good
one
men.
up in college.
I
My
see
mother's
good men
afraid that the
everywhere.
FBI is going to come and get me. She's like,
Yeah.
you have to watch your mouth, Laura. You got to watch your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go. Much
Appreciate
love. Thank you.
Have a good
Yeah,
night,
please
Lottie
have a
Dottie.
good night, Lottie Dottie. Shout out to DC. Shout out to the district.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? Lottie Dottie's always a pleasure. You know, we got the Lord Geotron. He's strapped for the showdown tonight, looking quite dapper, quite
I was
debonair,
just about
like
to
he ready
say
to pull up
dapper.
in somebody. Huh?
I was just about to say dapper, looking dapper.
Yeah,
Hello.
looking dapper, you know what I'm saying? Like he ready for a date this evening, you know.
Now,
I'm
how y'all
glad you're
feeling
okay.
tonight, man?
Hey man, you know it's the greatest
Good.
day of my life. How about yourself?
It was a little somber. My boss tried to commit suicide at work today.
Oh man,
Weird.
Oh,
I ain't
Dude,
thought you had a
old
boss,
white guy. He
bro.
crazy as hell.
Yeah, I didn't think you have a boss, man. But I understand, man.
Nah, I mean, I work a regular job. I work one of those was it 7 to 5, 6:30 to 5. It's
Understood,
good
man.
paying though.
So what's your thoughts on this, man? You've been dabbling with the bunnies. What's happening, man?
All right, so here's the deal. Several years back, when I was a younger man before I got married the first time around,
Mm-hmm.
um, there was this guy who said to me, "Man, you like white women." When I was describing type of women I like, and when I was describing this or that, he's like, "You like white women?" I said, "Nah, dog. I just like women."
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And with that being said, while it's fresh on my mind, I want to take it back to when Miss Avery said something about her son not being mistreated and not being handled or misused or
Mm-hmm.
talked to and dealt with any type of way.
Mm-hmm.
Avery, I'm gonna tell you something, girl.
Woman.
Teach those boys. Excuse me.
Yeah. Nah, you good. I'll just fuck with you,
I
man. Go ahead.
I
I
didn't
know.
mean to get you personal.
I know. Come on.
Teach those boys these 3 things.
Okay.
Well, it's one thing, but it's one subject. But teach them if they're gonna plan on being in any relationship with a woman, any relationship, white, black, it don't matter what complexion the woman is,
Absolutely.
Hispanic or whatever. He has 2 demands and 1 requirement. That's a residual of the 2 demands being met. First demand, respect.
Mm-hmm.
We don't give a fuck about your love. You respect me.
Yes.
You can't respect me, get the fuck on.
Absolutely.
My respect becomes before your respect. You respect me more than you respect your fucking self. And that's real shit. That's number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Because let me explain. You ever heard people say, "I'll die for my respect, I'll kill for my respect"?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know who doesn't say that? Women.
Right. Respect is bigger than love.
Women don't say they'll die for their respect. Women won't kill for their respect.
Yeah.
Right.
So respecting me, if we're gonna be in a relationship, I'm talking about a relationship. I'm not talking about just fooling around, hookup culture, 304 culture. I'm not talking about dating culture. I'm talking about relationship culture.
Mm-hmm.
My respect comes before your respect to you. Let's teach your boys that. Respect first, and second, exclusiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Because first of all, if you're not being exclusive to me, you're not respecting me.
Mm-hmm.
If you're still living at home with mommy and daddy, that's cool. Mommy and daddy come before me. Little brother, little sister, they come before me, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of the people in your household,
Mm-hmm.
if we're going to be in this relationship until we start living together, or whatever, you're exclusive to me. I come before your friends. I come before your school teacher. I come before your college professor. I come before your boss.
Mm-hmm.
And then as a result of those two things, it's not a demand, but it should be a requirement. Love. You got to love me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because as men, what we do is we give our love automatically.
Mm-hmm.
We give our love off the rip. And when we start giving you gifts and doing little stuff like trying to surprise you with flowers or try to take you out somewhere, right then and there, we're already giving our love, man. We don't like to give. Bro, there's a saying. I learned it from my uncle. If it weren't for women, men would walk around naked and live in caves.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So my point is, tell your boys to demand respect, demand exclusiveness, and as a result of those two, require love.
I hear you. And you know what? I hope that even with their fathers, that they understand that that they are the type of men that don't have to demand it. They attract, excuse me.
That's what I mean. See, it's not about the words. Go ahead.
It's not a word, but just their presence, right? Like my father and the men that I'm attracted to, they walk in and you just know. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to boast about it. You just know and how they carry themselves and everything, and they exude it. And it's like, you know, it's the whole respect thing. But I've also said, I agree with you when it comes to respect. And I think I've said this to JR, but when a woman loses respect for a man, you need to go.
Right. Get her away from you.
Respect to him. That's when you lose respect for a man, because it's
get
like
her away from you.
Going out of love.
She might get you killed by accident.
Mm-hmm.
She can get you killed by accident. By some type of trifling ass shit she does.
No, that's true.
If she starts disrespecting you, get her away from you. Mm-hmm. But nah, getting back to the topic at hand though, as far as the divesting and the
Swirling.
whatever.
Yeah.
I found it intriguing. I find it intriguing that a black man is being a sellout if he goes somewhere else, but a black woman is divesting, or in other words, getting better than her own. That's what divesting means.
Mm-hmm.
Submitting to something more powerful than your own. But a black man is selling out. And I look at it like we talk a lot. We get in depth. Like, you know, it's ingrained back in our nanas, the baby boomer people. They did this. The women, I got my own money. I got this and I got that. And you know, Zaddy, we'll give you welfare. We'll give you your own apartment. We'll give you this. You just got to keep Ray Ray and Pookie away.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, feminism. But it's a cultural thing, you know. And the one thing I tell all black women out there, ladies, if you're listening, Becky, Mei-Ling, Suzanne, Xing Chong, or whatever her name is, and all those other chicks, Marilyn, Consuelo, Jackie, or whatever, Puerto Ricans, they know that y'all are trying to get with their men. They're not going to make it easy on you. In fact, what they're going to do is they're going to let their men be with you, and then they're going to cut your throat. Not literally. They're going to let their men be with you just to show how belittling and how berating the black culture and the black community is. And then they're going to take their men from you. But I'm not going to spill that hatred out there. My point is, we should look at ourselves first for love. And I don't know, man. Like, I love women. Now, I prefer a black woman, but you know, 74, what is it? 74%, 84% of the black children are born out of wedlock. And so they're being raised by mothers who are teaching them, he gonna fuck up your credit, or he ain't gonna be no good, or he gay, or all this other stuff. And it's like, huh? And they come in with a mental block already incapable of showing you the utmost respect. Because when she'll sit there in public and argue with you about you respecting her, she's blatantly disrespecting you right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was talking about the little chick who dumped me about a month or so ago now.
Yeah.
She was raised by both parents. And
Here's a young woman, man. So you can't really, like, when you talk about young women, I mean, we already addressed that, man. That's completely different.
No. I'm talking about the type of mentality. My fault, JR.
No, I'm just saying, whether you white, black, or whatever, you like young women are young women. But go ahead.
No, I'm talking about as far as the black thing, as far as the upbringing, because her father was one of those black men whose mother ordered 66 him, but he didn't self-destruct. He figured out a way to survive the wars or the execution order, had a family or whatever. But because he knew the significance of a legitimate child rearing, like being a husband, being married, and raising daughter or whatever, he taught his daughter a very, very like toxic trait or toxic perspective. He taught her that a man should be paying for her time. And a man should have to do this and a man should have to do all type of stuff where, she would wind up turning into a lesbian, or she would wind up committing suicide or some crazy mess like that. I don't know. But, I don't.
Well, hopefully, since she's a younger woman, when she lives and learns and, has life experiences, like many of us, our parents told us one thing and it's another, and they're talking to us. Some of them are doing the best that they can based on their circumstances and personal experiences. But then we get to a point where we have to figure out for ourselves through life and love and all of that. So hopefully she can unbecome and unlearn some of those toxic traits and that mindset.
I'm gonna land the plane now. The swirling thing, look, at this point, like me personally, I think I said it before. I look at myself as an American first. I just happen to be black. And I love my country. I love women. I don't care what your complexion is. You know what I mean? Like, I prefer black, my own type or my own nationality or ethnic group or whatever. I don't care. Mm-hmm. But white, blonde hair, blue hair. No, I don't. Blonde hair, brunette, red hair, sandy brown, whatever. Hispanic. It doesn't matter. Like, at the end of the day, if you respect me and if you put me first, you're gonna get my love and whatever comes with that. You know what I mean? Like, and unfortunately for a lot of our black women, they don't know how to put nothing first other than themselves. Everything's about me. And that's a part of the black culture that's really bad, because typical black women out here, and when I say typical, I'm not talking about all. There's always a exception to the rule.
For sure.
So, but you just go up randomly, ask black women, who's more important, you or the black community? And 9 times out of 10, she's gonna say her. You ask, put 10. I've already done it. I've literally done it since the last time we talked, JR. I literally did this. Yes, from yesterday to now. I talked to 10 black women, and I asked them, who or what is the most important thing in your life? All 10 of them, in some way, shape, form, or fashion, said me or my job or my kids, which is all 3 things is a derivative or benefactor of themselves. None of them said God. None of them said the community. None of them said my country. None of them said the future generations. They immediately said their kids right then in the immediate, but they weren't talking about long term. And that's the one thing that's lacking in the black community, where I see there's a lot of black guys who have the mental capacity to recognize it. They're the ones leaving and selling out. You know what I mean? And it's like, I really don't like that. Like,
I
and
understand, brother.
the black women that are divesting, they're divesting. A lot of it is due to self-hatred, because remember I was telling you about the showdown in New Year's on Fresh and Fit. I was telling you about that show. I remember how Myron was talking about how can't be selectively feminine. You can't be selectively feminine. There's no such thing as selective
Myron's
feminine.
not, and I think what's her name, Lottie Dottie. She alluded to that. That's a poor example because he's not.
No. I'm just using that one conversation. I just happened to be there that night.
He's not a FBA for one, you know.
Right.
And I hate to keep talking about him, but he's not like you have people who follow that type of person, but this is a person who obviously doesn't have any experience. Especially he can't speak for foundational, and I'm using that term directly. He has no experience with foundational Black Americans, so he cannot speak for the experience
to that extent, to that degree.
Yeah. So for any Black man to listen to him, who's from Sudan, to talk about the Black American experience, you're going to lose anyway by listening to that guy. And it's no shout out to him because he's talking about textbook stuff from a white male's perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's where people lose. So if you want to follow Myron and Fresh and Fit, he's not coming from a standpoint. He's coming from a guy who wants to be white and speaking from a white culture, even though he's Sudanese. He's not he's not a foundational Black American. So he speaks from a standpoint of a white male perspective. So, but go ahead though. I'm sorry.
No, but
I just want to get that out there.
was,
You know, if you follow him, that's what you're following.
No. Listen, JR, man, you my guy. Listen, my point is, what he was bringing out that night was, there's no such thing as selective feminism. Or, I mean, excuse me, not femininity. It's not selective. That's like me coming up to you in the nightclub. I got on a pair of high heel shoes and a dress.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly where you're going with that, which is he's talking about some textbook shit. But go ahead. I know what you.
Right. The same thing with Black women. It's like, I'm talking about the Black women that are divesting. I could be like, and what happens is 6 months, maybe a year down the line, what happens is this white guy sees that all it was that she was doing was putting on a costume. It was a front the whole time. She was faking. And then now when real world problems start hitting their relationship, and she starts bringing out the Don Quisha or the goddamn Wespucia, and that side of her starts showing, then it's like, what the fuck is this? That's when the white guy or the the white guy or the Asian guy, whoever else she divested to, gets to kicking her to the curb. Because it's a front. It's a farce, because you could be feminine for these guys, but when your own type approach you or conduct business with you or try to be with you, you looked at them with this high contempt. You looked at them so contemptible. You looked at them as if he's trying to take something from you. All the while, he got more than you ever could even contemplate or perceive yourself having.
I agree with you, and I think that's a complaint that a lot of brothers have, which is what you're saying right now, is that you'll look at him as content because of your past experiences, what social media will have, what social media will show you.
Just how she was raised up. Just how she was raised.
And that's
the color purple of America.
Yeah.
Harpo, Mr. All of us are rapists. All of us are wife beaters. All of us are homos. Tyler Perry, Madea. You ain't a good man. You ain't a good Black man if you ain't rich.
I agree.
Like that's what's put through the media. That's what's put out. Color Purple, all the Madea movies, all those type of movies. Only way you're a good Black man is if you're a cop or some former military. And the only way you're possibly a good Black man in America's mainstream media, in entertainment media outlets, you had to be either a cop or military. Outside of that, you was some kind of outlaw or some kind of queer or some kind of wife beater or worse.
Yeah.
Why does Denzel have to break the law and be a crooked cop to win the Oscar?
Yeah. Nah, I feel you,
But
bro.
my whole point is, man, at the end of the day, we're all American. We're American.
Fuck all that
We're
American
American.
shit, man. I mean,
Huh?
I understand we were raised differently, especially in America, but I think our values and what being a man is transcends all that, all those borders, that nationality. Attraction is attraction. What a man is what a man is, regardless of where you're from. That's why all the shit works. You know what I mean? In terms of what it is, and in terms of running your community, being a standard. What a woman is looking for in a man doesn't change based off of borders. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fuck
Hey,
that American shit is all bullshit. So you can go
no,
to the next country and be. I mean, America's great, but what I'm saying is what being a man is being a man, being a woman is being a woman, and attraction is one thing you can't deny. Regardless, it's just a sequence of imperfections that someone finds that basically works with what it is that they see. So, and not only that, I mean, it goes far beyond that with women. It goes beyond what the eye sees. It's just basically what it boils down to with women is security. And when a woman sees a man, am I secure with this guy? Is this guy, will I feel safe with this guy? Is he funny? Can he impute knowledge into me? Can he better me? I think that's what women are looking for, as opposed to men. We're just looking for, a fine ass bitch with a fat ass a lot of times, or depending on your demographic, is she attractive? That's not necessarily what women care for. So all that 6-pack shit, 6 foot shit, all that stuff, all that bank account stuff, all that shit's irrelevant. That shit that they're talking about.
Okay.
Women don't care about
Okay.
it. Yeah. I'm just being honest.
Nah.
That's what I know, because you
Yes.
have some of the most gorgeous women are with men that don't make any money. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I agree. Do we feel safe? That is the main thing, is like, I want my man to be like a safe space for me. As I am, he should be able to come to me as well. But like, I want to feel safe. I want to feel like I'm with the man. And that is,
Right.
Jared, you hit the nail on the head. That is definitely true. And when it comes to the whole masculine and feminine, no, true femininity. And I know we're not going to get onto this. I mean, we're talking about, the interracial dating and all that. But when it comes to feminine, no, it should not be conditional, right? It's not something that you can necessarily flip on and
Absolutely.
flip off, unless, when it comes to your job or something like that, then there may be a space where you have to lead in your masculinity. And then when you get home, you should be able to walk through the door in your femininity. But your true feminine is something that you're always going to be connected to, right? You don't disconnect from it. You're always connected to it. It's who you are. It's in your core. But there will be times that you may need to lead in your masculinity, making a decision, problem solving, certain things. But no, women that are playing, right? Like, oh, I'm going to act soft. I'm going to act this way to manipulate you and to catch you. Of course, everybody, it comes out, right?
I mean, hoes is the best. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right. No, but you're right. It's different if you just love who you love, right? It's the same thing. Yes, I was married to a black man. I have definitely been, and dated more black men than I ever have out, white men or anything like that. But I've also gone out with white men. You know what I'm saying? I have been intimate with white men and men that were outside of the black community. But like I said, love is love. And it's, you go as a woman, it's going to be where I feel safe and all of those things that JR mentioned, right? I will never turn my back and generalize black men. I will continue to say that. If there's no good look, I will never do that when my sons are black and they came out of my womb. You know what I'm saying? They will know their value and worth from me. Like I'm the first woman in their life. And I will always lift them up. Just like I make sure that they do the same with my daughter. They are her first example. Like, they are the first young black men in her life, and her father and everything. Yeah. But
hey, can I say two last things, and then the plan is on the runway.
Yeah, I know you about to land this motherfucker, but
the plane's on the runway now, okay? And you got to pull up to that little gate thing.
All right, I'm pulling up right here.
Taxi that motherfucker.
Yeah, taxi.
I've been around. I've been to other countries. I've been to a few other countries. I've been outside the country. I've been to other places on this planet. I've been to South America a lot. But anyway, um, I I hear a lot of stuff about like black women saying black men don't have culture. We're uncultured and all this other stuff, right?
We
Here's
are
the point I want to make about. Here's the point I want to make about that. Number one, outside of America, outside of this country, you go anywhere in the world, black men from America are the snitch, snap, shizzing.
absolutely.
Black women in America from America are looked at like dog shit, bottom tier, bottom shelf, cheap liquor that needs to be put in storage. Okay, and that's no cap.
I think the black man. I hear what you're saying. I think the black man in America, the black man and woman is the most emulated in the world. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's what I was about to get at.
No,
That's what I was about to
not
say.
just
How
the black man.
Hear me out. Hear me out.
They're the most emulated. But go ahead.
Hear me out. And when I hear these black women saying black men have no culture, they're uncultured.
We are the culture. Black Americans. Foundation.
How you gonna say black men are not cultured?
We are the culture. We are the
exactly.
Culture.
You remember I said that before.
Yeah.
If you go around the world, if you go all over the planet Earth, everybody on the planet Earth, men of all races on this planet are trying to be like black men in America, not black American men
and women,
black men
and women. Yeah, I'm not gonna take that away from women, even though we got some sisters that want to be white that try to emulate European features. We are the culture of this world that are the most impactful.
Right.
That are the black man. Innovative. But go ahead.
The black man in America is by far the most imitated human being in the history of this planet.
Absolutely.
And I'm talking currently, and not all time, currently. Right. So when I be hearing these women say black men have no culture, they're uncultured, we are the culture. We're the world culture.
These are people who moved to America that are saying this. The people who you're referring to that are saying this, these are people who moved to America.
Our mothers and sisters.
You know. Huh?
I didn't hear you, bro.
The people that you're probably referring to have moved to America and they are saying this about black men. We don't have culture when they're saying in terms of history.
No, I'm talking about black women of our community.
I don't think a black woman. I don't think a black woman would ever say that. When you mean in terms of culture, I can't take you to Dubai, or I can't take you to somewhere in South America or India. Is that what you mean? Because you from the same hood I'm from. So what the fuck are you talking about?
Exactly. My point is, what happened is they're trying to divest. So they putting on this image, or they putting on this costume, or this front, like they're sold this or sold that, or they might have gotten a chance to travel outside the country before. But what happened is they saw something outside the country that's not commonplace in this country, but what they didn't get to see is the real nitty gritty of those societies and countries. It'd be black women, our own black women in the inner cities. The I don't want to put no names out. I'm tired of naming other people's names.
I need you to land that plane, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Love is love.
Somebody said the plane's off the runway. He went back in the air and it's hovering. They said,
we went back in there.
Hey,
I need you to land that plane, bro.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
Love is love, bro. Love is love.
Yeah, it's all love. I need you to land that plane, though, bro, for sure.
I'm done, bro. Y'all have a good night, man. Thanks for having me, man.
Hey, man, appreciate you, man. Shout out. Hey, shout out to Lord Geotron, man. I wasn't trying to but I know I see illustrious J-Key on here, but I don't know if you walked away from your computer or what's going on, but I can't add you. So once you enable that, I can add you. But he brought up a very good conversation, a point in a conversation in terms of within, because this is something I see in Avery. You may have saw this as well on social media about, and I don't want to say African Americans, but I want to say foundational Black Americans or people within America that we have no culture,
Mhm.
right? And that you go to other races, even white people, because you view black men or even black women as not being cultured
Mhm.
in terms of our history, which it's understandable for many of us who are foundational and who are immigrants,
Mhm.
like myself, and I don't know your history in particular,
All
but
over.
huh?
I said all over.
No, I'm just saying I don't
Yeah.
know my history other than
Yeah.
ancestry.com.
Mhm.
I can't go back to a particular country in
Right.
terms of where I'm from, but what I do know is that people from all over the world want to emulate Black American culture, and they want to be like Black American culture no matter what country you are in, what continent you're in. Hence, they import. We're known for entertainment,
Mhm.
which I can be negative or positive because the quality of life is better if you're paying for something. Obviously, it's going to make the quality of life better for you. I
Right.
don't care if it is entertainment; it's making the quality of life better for you.
Mhm.
But what he was just getting at is like it's like I've heard that same thing that men aren't cultured, black men aren't cultured, so on and so forth. But I mean, you can't. I think his name was Carlos or something. He's one of those from that one of those comedians.
Mhm.
You expect the black man to have a big dick, 6 foot plus, six pack abs, him to write poetry, him to be able to draw, him to be able to tap into you emotionally,
Mhm.
him to be able to rub your back, rub your feet, talk about your problems, work 8 to 10 hours a day, be an entrepreneur, maybe
Take
all these
on the world, be your protector.
yeah, all these other things when it's just like, come on, bro. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, like you come from if you know and I don't think any woman who knows where she's from is going to have that thought process. And
Right.
that's where I'm just coming from. I don't think well you come from the same hood I'm from or you come from the same neighborhood I'm from. How come you're not cultured? I think people should be man and woman. You should be able to show each other something. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? And that's what I value about a woman in particular. Like I consider myself, and I'm not tooting my own horn. I consider myself, an explorer,
Mhm.
right? I like to travel the world. I like to discover new things. I
Mhm.
would want a woman that would want to be able to do the same thing. It
Yeah.
doesn't take a white woman to do that or a woman from a different culture, which it can be. I could learn from something from this person, but
Mhm.
I think at the end of the day, we want to be with someone who gives us a feeling. Life is a
Yes.
feeling process. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Whether that be with a black woman, whether that be with another woman is somebody that gives us that feeling, and that's who we choose to be with. And I know women say this all when you're dealing with a woman, from my perspective, from my experience, it's a woman. You have to give a woman a feeling.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? A woman has to have a certain feeling when she's with you, like something that she craves that she's never had before. A lot of times, or maybe she has had it before, and maybe she likes that type of feeling. But I don't think it takes in terms of like, oh, this dude's been to 65 countries.
Yeah.
That's dope. You can teach me something new, but I wouldn't want to be with someone. Hence why I don't think I could ever be with a younger woman. Not that she couldn't teach me anything really, but the fact that it's like this is a unilateral situation.
Mhm.
And I don't want to be, continue to talk because I know you got you got some input on this, but what we're getting away from in this conversation is the fact that why is it really a thing that black men prefer white women, which I guess is the unspoken thing in this whole conversation we're having?
Right.
Is it that black men prefer white women for a particular reason? Do we value white women for a particular reason? Do we see white women as being superior to black women? Do we feel like white women are more easygoing?
Mhm.
Is the conversation. I can't really speak to that. I know what some guys and what some women have said and what people say is a thing that white women, you can get away with a lot of things with white women that you can't get away with black women.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wouldn't know. I just think that certain.
You know what? I feel like now I know we're talking about men and women, but like when we're talking about this situation, I think we need to separate females and males and men and women, right? So
Mhm.
a black man that may date outside of his race won't say, "Oh, I'm dating a white woman because she's easy on," right? That's what a boy or a male would say who
Correct.
doesn't know any better.
Correct.
But a man who is grounded and whole and knows who he is and is experienced, and yes, he may have had some experiences with black women where they may have been combative or may have been peaceful or whatever stage he's at in his life. When a black man ends up with a woman outside of his race, it could just be, hey, it's peaceful. You know what I'm saying? Not that I feel a white woman is superior, but the respect is that much more important. So for whatever reason he connects with her, he chooses to connect with her. I know a lot of black men who said like Geotron, and they're like, hey, I may prefer, yes, I would love to be able to meet, a sister or a black woman, in my area or in my work or in the gym, but this is who I ended up with, right? And it's just purely on happenstance, who they're attracted to in the moment, who they connect with, the feeling, right? And I feel the same way. A woman, let's just use myself for example. If I was to marry and end up married to a white man, the woman that I am right now and the woman that I'm continuing evolving into, which is an everyday process, right?
Right.
It's not going to be for any other reason. I'm not going to be divesting. It's me. It's the feeling. It's the feeling. This is the person I'm connected to. This is the person that may be my soulmate. This is, I can laugh with them. I can cry with them. We add to each other. We make each other better. This is why I'm with this person who he just happened not to be black, But if I am operating as a female, as a girl, as a chick, I am going to think small-minded, basic, simple. Oh, let me play this up. Like he said, let me put that mask and that costume on.
Yeah.
Because you know what? This one over here wasn't no good. So white is right. Let me go over here because he's going to treat me good because he's a non-black man. Not understanding that just because they're not black doesn't mean that they are a better man.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So in these terms, when we go that deep, it depends on who you are and your maturity level and your mindset and everything like that. Because now as a woman, I can sit here and say, hey, go where you grow, right? If I was operating from a wounded space, right, in a small-minded space, in a space where I was hurt and bitter, and I looked down on black men and didn't see your worth, then I would say things such as, white is right, or Hispanic or Asian or whatever it is. I'm gonna go over here because black men don't know how to treat women. They don't know how to love us. They don't know how to protect us. They drop the ball on us because I'm going to be holding you all accountable for the black man who may or may not have ever let me down. Some black women operate like that, not because a black man hurt them, but because black men hurt the women in their lives and they pass that hurt down on them. So as a woman and as a man, you date and end up with whoever you want to. And it's not going to be based on their skin color or their race. It's going to be based on the feeling, right? It's going to be based on the peace, on the respect, on the love, on the, do you provide for me and all that. Females, males, boys, girls, chicks, dudes, or whatever, they operate in that backwards ass space.
Right. Cold world, Avery. Cold world. You know what I'm saying? I agree with everything you just said. Like it's something that we need to think about when we go into these situations and these relationships and things like that. I know we have a caller here. I know he finally mic'd up, so I'm about to bring you on, illustrious Jakey. I don't know what the whole thing is with your name, but I'm about to bring you on here shortly. But before I bring him on, make sure you guys hit that like button. I know we're deep into this whole situation in terms of swirling and divesting. Guys, make sure you hit that like button, man. We're just shy of 100. We should have 100 likes right now. If you're on here right now and you haven't hit that like button, hit that like button right now. Quit playing around. It's just that easy. Just click it. You know,
Right.
we can have 100 right now. Quit playing around. So we'll go ahead and bring on. I know he's not cammed up, but go ahead and bring him on. See what he's talking about, Mr. or Mrs. Illustrious. I'm assuming you're a Mister, but we'll go ahead and bring you on. Talk to me.
Peace. How are you?
How are you, sir? Where are you calling in from?
Calling in from Miami.
Shout out to the MI Yayo, the 30, was it 30, 304, 305?
305. 305.
Shout out to the 305, man. What's on your mind, man? What you got to add to this topic?
What's going on? Avery, you looking especially luscious today. How are you?
Thank you.
Okay.
No, I'm chilling. I'm chilling, brother. I'm just enjoying the conversation, and it's actually illustrious Jakeem Bey.
Yeah, I couldn't see the whole thing, man. If I did,
Right,
I
no
would
problem.
it. Yeah, but go ahead, man. What's up?
No, yeah, just from my perspective, I agree with the majority of what's being said. Like, you do have what your athlete, your baller type brothers, when they are, when they're dealing with what you call white women, it's always a thing of they're usually in shape, or like they say that they're usually around. But then I've even seen from a certain perspective, like when they're like around arenas and stuff like that, they're a huge part of the groupie circle as well. Mm-hmm. So meaning they're waiting, they're preying on these brothers and stuff like that, and these brothers are not seeing it, but they're saying, "Oh yeah, usually when I'm with this, I'm only seeing this." But if we're being honest, a lot of times when we want to do that, we're hunting for them. Let's be real. We're hunting for them a lot of times. And then, like you say, when you see the average brother who's dealing with a Caucasian woman or something like that, who's not a high earner, he can be cut up, muscular, anything. He's with a whatever type of looking so-called white chick. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of that. And for me, I've never stepped out. I've always I love sisters, period. I feel as though you can't plant your seed in better soil. Mm. And this is scientifically. Mm. So we're talking about the mother of civilization here. There's no, when you understand from a historical perspective, there is no, there's no, how do I say, there's no doubt why they emulate us so much. We're the first people. We've taught everybody, or everyone is a derivative of us to begin with. Mm-hmm. And not just we have a culture. No. We are the everything as far as culture ever was, if civilization ever was. For me, why I've never ventured outside is what I noticed, that most of the females, most of the so-called white women that were attracted to me, just like any brother, they don't care what it is. He could be on the ceiling. They don't care. And that's what, and like Avery's saying, I felt like it was more of the women that had a fetish for brothers.
Yeah.
Because we know that too. Mm-hmm. We know that too. Yes. When you have a fetish for us as well, mm-hmm. and we don't take you seriously, because I've been told plenty of times, hey, well, see how far she gonna go with it. But mm-hmm. me, I don't play little games like that, man. I'm either you all in or you all out. Mm-hmm. And you do fish to hear certain things. But then there you go. I hear things that I don't like. But then I will say this too. There is also a certain degree of animosity a brother will have with you if he's there with a white woman, who any type of white woman, if he's an average earner, and you're just going up into a restaurant or something like that. You just happen to look over there and see them, he's staring you down.
Mhm.
Like you want his woman. Like, bro, chill.
Yeah.
You and the Stay Puff Marshmallow Man can do y'all thing. And you know,
Mhm.
nobody ain't hating on that. But for me, I think, like you said, that's very interesting about the intimate part. Me, I've always been you know, an affectionate type of brother. And I'm not gonna lie, I've had sisters say, like, yo, I've never been this intimate with nobody like this before.
Mm.
I've never been affectionate with somebody like this before.
Right.
And
right.
it is crazy because we have been taught to be individuals instead of being a community, because we come from tribes. That's how we operate. We're usually having a big family. I remember back in, my mom used to say it when she was growing up. They had a set of 4 children. They were the smallest family in the neighborhood.
Mhm.
Compared to the rest of the families around them, on average had 9 or above.
Mhm.
You know, but for me, the whole swirling thing, for me, a lot of times I think monetarily, from a sister's perspective, is usually monetary from what I hear.
Mm.
It's usually monetary from what I hear. And I'm not saying that you don't have situations where it could be that you're interested in the personality of them at the time, because there are some, you know, that are cool like that. But it's not a majority. And then at the same time, the same thing with brothers. You don't see a lot of high earning white women dating average brothers, do you?
Are they not about to do that?
At all. At all. So you're talking about where it's all systematic.
Mhm.
And we have been taught to interface from a fear-based and combative perspective.
Mhm.
That is why we're having this issue of intimacy with each other. And that brother did pose, the brother from Chicago, shout out to him, pose a very good question. Why is it that, you know, when you're friends with a sister, or you have a sister as a side chick, you got way better cooperation than when you are
Mhm.
obligated directly?
Mm.
But when there's an indirect thing, because obviously it's less responsibility, right?
Absolutely.
Means less obligation, is less pressure, but the problem is also lack of structure.
Mhm.
Women need that. Women need that. They need that structure to their chaos. But I'm gonna say this, for brothers, we're not out of the gate on this, you know, and I say this all the time, brothers, our women could act right tomorrow.
Sure could.
Let's say they do that. They can act right, do everything they say. The problem is the fact that you're not in enough power to where the so-called white man can get someone to drag you out of your house and bring you into his court. That's the type of power we're supposed to be building as the builders of all civilizations. We have regress, and we have to be honest about that.
Mm.
Mhm.
Very interesting, man. Hey, bro, shout out to you, man.
Thank
I
you for your
appreciate
gems and your point of view. Thank you very much.
Absolutely appreciate you, and we need to have more. See, but the tide is changing because we're having conversations like this that have been kept inside.
Mhm.
Let's be honest. It's only been in conversations at brunch. It's only been conversations within the home. Now it's on the World Wide Web now.
Mhm.
So I give high praises and high honors to you, brother JR, you, sister Avery, for intelligent conversations that we have to have, real dialogue that must be had. But this is the step in the right direction.
God willing.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, bro. Have a good night, man. Thanks for calling
All
in.
right. All right. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. Shout out to brother right there from the 305. Yo. We haven't even, what's funny, Avery?
Hmm?
We haven't, like, I was looking at my notes here, and I know you probably looking at yours. We haven't once discussed Jay Ellis, Tay Diggs, Eve, Wesley Snipes, Chris Rock, any of this stuff that we even talked about before we even came on here. You know what I mean? And like, and I feel like we're 3 hours in, like literally just now. We just hit 3 hours, and
Right.
I'm like, how the hell did we stay on here for 3 hours right now? It's
House
11.
way.
Yeah, facts. I know it's like 10-12 where you're at. It's 11-12 where I'm at. But
Yes.
it's like, how in the hell? And we didn't even touch on this stuff. Shout out to everybody who called in. But like,
Yes. Thank you.
the whole Jay Ellis, Tay Diggs, Eve, the homie Omari Hardwick,
Mm-hmm.
these things with these guys who have as some would call divested and have issues with that they're dating outside of their race, even though in the movies or things like that, Omari Hardwick obviously got with a Latina, as the woman that he wanted to be with instead of Tasha. But like a lot of these, Jay Ellis, for example, which we talked about,
Yes.
Jay Ellis from Insecure,
Mm-hmm.
with Issa Rae. Is it Issa
Yes.
Rae? Yeah, Issa Rae. He just married a white woman, a Serbian woman from Eastern Europe.
He sure did.
He knew the backlash that was coming from him marrying a white woman. So
Yes, he did.
when he posted the photos, he turned off the comments.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have to say about that? And what's your thoughts on that?
First of all,
he had to do that.
he did the right thing. He knew it was coming, right?
Yeah.
To me, he did the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, because to me, any union, whether you agree with who the person is marrying or not, any union in a wedding should be celebrated. It's not a time for y'all to come on there with the hate and all of that. So why ruin his moment in something that he wanted to share and put out there and come in with the comments and he's a sellout and, oh, here goes another one and X, Y, and Z, whatever. To me, he did the right thing by disabling the comments, right? By turning the comments off. I saw it. I wasn't triggered. I could care less. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't my man. It doesn't take anything away from me. And just because I don't take it as a slap in the face if I see a black man with a non-black woman. Right? Because I don't know their story. I don't know how they met. I don't know how in love they are. I cannot, if I was to sit up and judge every black man that I saw with a woman that was not black and assumed and made the generalization that he has turned his back on black women. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't love black women. He thinks that all black women are all of these negative stereotypes. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? I'm small-minded. I can't say that he's with that woman for, surface reasons. How do you know it's not love? How do you know this isn't somebody that added to his life and helped build him up at his lowest point or anything like that? So congrats on your nuptials. Congrats. It's not like he was my man and I look up and he married somebody else. So to each his own. But he knew, baby, the sisterhood was coming, ready to burn him at the stake.
Yeah.
Yep.
Witch hunt was in full effect, man. Goodness. So, but I feel it's kind of like you want to post it. Here's my thing.
Well, yeah, you want to post it and not be ready for the backlash.
You want to post it, but not be ready for the backlash because you're already like, I'm marrying this white woman. I know they're going to attack me. Let me turn off the comments, even though I normally have my comments on. So it says something about the fact that, I don't want to absorb the negativity. I just want the praise for my union, as you said. As for you being a black woman, you said you're happy for the nuptials and things like that.
I can care, because to me, it's not just, I'm not going to lose any sleep tonight over it.
Yeah.
But I don't take it personal. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's the mindset that I'm in. It does nothing to me that he married a woman that was not black. You know what I'm saying? Now, I do take it some type of way when I hear all Black women are like this. You guys are all combative. You guys are all this. You guys are all loud. You're all ratchet. You're all ghetto. I'm like, well, wait a minute. You know, because I wasn't raised in a space like that. My mother wasn't like that. My cousins weren't like that. My close girlfriends are not like that. I'm not like that. You know what I'm saying? So I do take that personal, but I take it personal when Black women bash Black men. So I'm like, well, wait a minute. I know more Black men that are amazing fathers than I know that are ones that walked out on their families. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Black men are not the only men that may cheat or have infidelity issues or whatever, right? Black men may have mama issues. White men may have mama issues. Italian men may have mama issues. So I am against any of those generalizations. Rub me wrong. I take it personal especially when Black women turn their back on Black men and praise and worship other men simply because they're not Black. And because in them, and I've said this earlier on the stream, and they think that they are better, that these men are better because Black men are bad. We have to stop saying good, Black men are this and that. Black men are not villains. They're not. No matter what you were told, no matter how you were raised, Black men are not our enemies, right? So that's why, I don't take it personal. And it's the same thing. I mean, social media, you're gonna put it out there, especially when people, even when people put their kids on social media, right? They'll disable their comments sometimes because you still have people who are gonna get behind the keyboard and they feel like it's their prime time to attack you, right? But then also if they saw you in person, oh my gosh, can I get a picture? Oh my gosh, but wait, weren't you? And I've seen that firsthand. I saw this with my ex. He would have people who would be on there talking big shit, right? But then they would see him in person. Oh my God, can I get a pic? Can I do this? Right. Can I do that? So, and I feel that Black women who take certain stuff personal like that, it's triggering them because it's showing, if they have heard from men that they are dating, you're this way, you're combative, you're this, you're that, and they have not worked on it and they really are like that, when they see a Black man end up with a woman that is not Black, it is triggering the areas that they still need to work on. Sometimes. So, I mean, to each his own.
Absolutely. Now I can see that. So, like, man, we could go. I can't believe we've been on here over 3
I'm about
hours.
to get off in a second. Y'all already know I was tired. Now I threw this. If you just joined, I threw this yellow dress on like this. This thing is low. We know. Because I was trying to distract you guys from the bags underneath my eyes, but now I'm just like,
ain't nobody can see them bags, Avery. So you did your job. But before we get off here, I just want to play this one video because I had it queued up just to get your thoughts on it. In terms of that. So we're gonna play this because they're talking about race. I see we got we got a caller in the queue, but we're gonna go ahead and play this video here for sure. Let me. Can I make it bigger? Let me see here. I don't think I can make it any bigger.
That's okay. We can listen.
Yeah. Full screen layout. Well, I guess you can't. So go ahead and play it then.
Yeah. So when it comes to interracial relationships, do you think that it's mostly Black men that choose to date outside their race?
No.
No.
Not at all.
What country?
Lady, you said ooh.
What country are you talking about though? Because
in the Western world.
Because you're talking statistically in the UK.
I wish I could find. I can't find.
I've got. If you let me get my phone, I can send it to you.
I think that.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Yeah,
you can look it up.
Go on.
In my opinion, more Black men date outside of their race than Black women. Just want to say that.
And okay, I could tell you the stats in the U.S. It's like 85% of Black men date in their race, but it goes up to 30% date out when they make over a certain amount of money.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh, wow. You see them NFL stars always with someone else.
Yeah, so it's like if they make a certain amount of money, it ups to 30%.
Why do you think that is?
Why do I think that is?
Why when it gets to that tax bracket do they date out?
Well, to me, it's like because in the U.S. at least, I have no idea what the stats are here, but I think when men get money, they want a pretty little skinny thing. And like they want the hot chick, and statistically, Black women in the U.S. are more obese than other races. So, like to me, it's just more of them aren't in shape.
You don't think it's a race thing? You think it may be a shape thing?
Yeah.
What do you think, ladies?
I don't think it's a shape thing. I just feel like I don't want to say like.
No, say it. Say it.
Say it.
Say it. 'Cause
No, I need to word it correctly. It's just like when you start getting higher up with the hierarchy in terms of like the CEOs and people like that, you start to see less and less black women. So the black men who are in that hierarchy, they're obviously going to date outside of their race because there's less black women generally.
But then aren't black women more educated than black men in the Western world? So they would be more
But I feel
in
like
that
they're
quote unquote
also
hierarchy.
underlooked. So they're not necessarily the ones who are going to be promoted.
Education.
If they
I
are.
don't. I thought they were the most enrolled. I don't think they're the most educated.
Sorry, the most enrolled.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think education dictates class.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And I don't think men really care that much about education.
No.
Like again, like when I talk to men, they tell me they want fit, feminine, friendly. It's like those three things. And so to me, education is just like a shoe collection to us. It's like nothing.
Yeah, that-
But if you say she got a fat ass, they're like, who? They're like,
So, sheesh. I don't know why this thing isn't popping up. I thought we were on there. Sorry about that, Avery. I thought our pictures were on there. So, what's your thoughts on that whole clip?
Okay, so so here's another thought that popped up. It's not that I don't think that it's necessarily because when men are at the top that there's not necessarily black women there, because obviously you leave the office building, right? Or you leave whatever corporation or wherever you're at and, you're around. I also think that sometimes the more money black men make, they're like, wait a minute, man, you don't respect. I make too much and provide too much to be disrespected, right? And to not have peace at home. So it's like, you mean that I'm providing for you, I'm protecting, I'm doing all of this, and I come home and I still get, I'm not doing that. You can go. You see what I'm saying? And I think that's honestly what it is because they're like, wait a minute, I don't need that. I don't even have to deal with that, right? Like there is nothing, I am bringing all of this in. I have heard black men say that, like, wait a minute, I am protecting, I am providing, I am loving you, and you still are being disrespectful. You were still being combative. You were still doing this whole, dance battle with me at home. As hard as I work or whatever, I don't need that. You know what I'm saying? I want peace. I want to be fed, and I want to be sexed. If you're not doing that, you can go. So I don't think it's like, some of the other stuff. I don't think it's that. It is also yes, black women, and I've talked about obese.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, I don't care what you see on social media, the few that are doing these fitness camps and all that. Generally speaking, I work out 3 to 4 times a week, sometimes 5, but I'm not like a fanatic about it, but I am, I am like into fitness. I am into health and wellness. I am a fitness trainer or whatever. I don't teach necessarily boot camp stuff anymore, but I have private clients. When I am out being active, when I'm out working out, when I'm in the grocery store or whatever, I've said this, the majority of black women that I see, y'all will be at brunches piled up in the nail salons and the hair shops. Y'all not out there hitting the pavement. Like you're not necessarily out there working. I have worked with a lot of black women who start to take their health seriously and started working out, but it's still not the norm. It is not a part of our everyday lifestyle at all. And that is another thing, right? So then when you get to a certain stat, when men make a certain amount, they may say, no, I want my woman to look a certain way.
Yeah.
Even if she's not, but now they feel like they can be more vocal because as a man, it's like, okay, as the man, I am hitting all these marks. I am doing what I'm supposed to do as the man. Now, you as the woman, if you cannot look good for me and respect me and back to the peace thing and sex me, then I don't have to deal with you. Because there's going to be they are lined up to take your place. And they are going to do it. And a lot of times, and they do it even more because they know that. They absolutely know that. They are also, now, and this is going back to athletes growing up. Some of my white girlfriends, their dads told them they could date a black man as long as he was a top athlete.
Damn.
It was okay. And that's a whole other thing. I don't even want to get into that.
Yeah.
But that's when it's like, okay, if he's an athlete, it's okay. Because we know sports in America, football, basketball. Yes. Oh, this is my son. This is this. And they praise it. But baby, if that man wasn't if he's just, he can be an attorney. No, you can get you a white attorney. But if he's a top athlete, if he is an entertainer, yes. Welcome home, son. You go from boy to son.
Boy to son. Damn. That's that prestige of being able to, everybody knows them.
Right.
Popularity for sure.
But I also get that from Black men, like, oh, you have 3 kids and you take care of yourself, right? But one of the reasons why I started to, I worked out, but I really got more fit after kids. And I'm gonna be honest, is because I didn't want to look like the stereotypical overweight Black woman who let herself go. And when I'm saying stereotypical, is a stereotype that let herself go after she had kids. And I'm like, oh, girl, I gotta get this baby weight off. Okay, how old is he, girl? He 10.
Cold world. Yeah.
And they might not want to hear it, but it's true. You know what I'm saying? We do. We do oftentimes let ourselves go. It's the food. It's this. It's that. Oh, I don't want to sweat my hair out. Whatever. Health is wealth. At the end of the day, you have to care for yourself. To me, you should want to be with somebody who cares for himself. I want to be with a man who takes care of himself. Doesn't have to have a 6-pack, but just takes care of himself, because I want us to be able to travel and do certain things together. And I want you to be healthy. And also because I know that the stress that a lot of men have on them, especially if I am operating in my feminine, I attract masculine men, alpha males, right? So a lot of times you guys have a ton of responsibilities, or you may be leading something, or entrepreneur, so you have even more stress on you. And then that goes into the whole, high blood pressure, all these other things that are factors that are attacking, a lot of men and women. So, I don't even know what I just said, and hopefully it made sense, guys.
No,
like fade off to the left.
It made perfect sense. I know we've been on here for a while. And I'm gonna wrap it up here. I'm gonna bring on this last caller here, Avery, and then we're gonna end this here. I think DC's been on here a few times, so we'll go ahead and bring him on. Sir, how are you doing?
Doing great, man. Hope you all are too. Look, great show. It's incredible. I'm stoked on it, man. Glad to be here. So it's been a long time. I'll jump right into it. So yeah, pretty much, man, with just interracial dating, man, it's really dependent on culture, really. Because Avery was saying a lot of times that when Black men start to make more money, that it's because like men start to accept less. I always say, if you want to know how a man really feels, men don't really express themselves like that until they get, most men, until they get, the money and the power. You know what I mean? As men go up, they start to change their standards. But one thing that I also wanted to add was the fact that men who make a certain amount of money tend to be more educated, and they come from a more culture that's proper. Like a lot of Black guys that I know that go after white women, like you can, a lot of times, I don't mean to be stereotypical, but you can kind of look at the way they talk and the way they walk, and you can sort of tell what they go for, because every Black guy I know that likes white women, they all have the same type of tonality, the same type of demeanor, everything. Not a bad thing at all. One thing I wanted to ask y'all, man, because I just don't have a stance on this. Like there's not a lot of things I just don't have a stance on. Like, who started? Why are people so obsessed with somebody dating outside of the race? Like, why does it matter? Like, I think on I don't understand with Black men. I don't understand. Maybe JR, you can answer that. With Black women, the only time that, from what I'm saying, only time they care when a Black man walks out is if it's somebody who's quote unquote high value. But did y'all know why like Black men are so obsessed with not dating out the race, and why people are in general?
Babe, we'd be on here all night, sweetie. Like, honestly, I think there's it's a long history. And a lot of times
I just got here. I'm sorry.
I know. Oh no, you're fine. I'm saying, because that's like a deep question. We could really go in on that. That's just my personal take. Right. And once again, it's a personal thing. It's also what you are taught, right? What you will, and it's other cultures too. There are some other cultures that are like, hey, don't date outside your race. You know what I'm saying? We want our kids, we want our grandkids. Don't mix the blood. Don't, keep the bloodline pure and all that. but what was our country built on? You know, so, and it's always been a lot of mixture, but I think it comes down now, it is 2022, and it's a personal thing, right? If you can look at a man that you don't even know, like when Jerry asked me about Jay Ellis or whatever, if I can look at him marrying that white woman, and if I take that personal, why am I taking it? Like, why? You know what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with me. Why am I taking that personal? He wasn't my man, so I don't care. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that he doesn't respect black women because he married a white woman. So everybody's so touchy now. You know what I'm saying? And if you're taking it personal as a black woman, I'm speaking as a black woman. If you are taking it personal and you think that black men are dating outside of our race and with, you know, and being with white women because they're more respectful or they're more submissive or they're more in touch with their femininity, then why don't you just become more respectful, more submissive, and more in touch with your femininity?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Instead of battling it. That's all I had. Like, normally I would have more to give you, but you know, I've been drinking and it's late and I've been up since 4:30. I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just kind of funny. This is just my last comment. Just throw it out here. It's funny because anytime you see a white girl, because a black dude will get with any type of white girl just as long as she's looking good, at least to sleep with her. But anytime that you see a white woman get with a black dude, it's either the girl's ghetto and she's with a hood dude, or she's with a very prosperous like VP or president. Like she's either dating a dude who's somebody or nobody. It's both extremes. But that's all I got, man. Great show.
Mm-hmm. And there's a fetish thing with some of the hood ones, you know, like the other call-in said, I can't remember his name, from Miami. Yeah. There is a fetish. There is definitely a fetish with white women or women that are not black, Hispanics and everything. I've seen this from guys that I know, and they're like, no. Like some of these women are after me just because I'm black and they're trying to absorb the culture, right? Or I'm gonna get with the black. Like I have a cousin and a girl told him, you're not the typical black guy. Like he almost wasn't black enough from what she thought for herself because she wanted the experience, right? So he was like, wait a minute, like, yeah, I don't, whatever you're seeing in the rap videos and all of that and on TV, not all black men are like that, but that's the type of black man she wanted because it's like, oh, I'm really with a black man. I don't want to be with a black man who is, going to a 9-to-5 or doing this. So it's like almost like reversed. And that's the whole fetish thing. Got you.
It was a good show, though. Appreciate you guys.
Indeed, man. Appreciate you calling in, bro.
No problem, man.
As usual, man. Have a good night. Shout out to that, bro, man. Hey, we're almost at 100. You guys are being lazy. We've been on here well over 3 hours. Hit that like button, man. This is glorious.
Oh, sorry. I just kicked something.
You just what?
Sorry. I was like slumped over and then I kicked my stand. I hope you guys didn't hear that.
Yeah, I know you got to get, I didn't hear that.
I just, it's perfect.
You got to get your nap. You've been drinking. You sedated now, Avery. So I know you got.
That sounds bad. Like I've been on here just knocking them back. I've only had 2 drinks.
No. I'm just saying, it is what it is. I had, like I said, when you saw me off camera, I was fixing my little libation, if you will.
Yes.
So, but yeah, it's a good conversation tonight. I think that we touched all aspects in terms of, is there really a thing? Is it that black women are more difficult to deal with? Is that why guys prefer white women? Mm-hmm. I think it's just me personally. It's just a matter of, even not just other cultures, like if you wonder why some people from some islands who we deem to have the most beautiful women, they'll go for women that look nothing like them because. Yes. And they'll marry these type of women because it's just something different. I think that, and somebody mentioned it earlier in the chat, that black men, 85%, they marry black women.
Yes.
85% of the time. It's not a matter of them basically divesting outside of, trying to marry a different race.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? When it comes to that, so I feel that it's just, whether you feel like, and I've seen on social media, maybe you've seen it as well, that that it would be a white woman. It can't be me because you can get away with more stuff with a white woman than you can with a black woman in terms of things like that. There's a lot of shit that men get away with black women as well. You know, that I know of personally, and you probably know them personally as well. They get away with all kind of shit.
All type of stuff.
You know, whether that be, you know, you invite a third party to the situation.
Yes.
You put your hands on her. She pays the bills. Just all types of stuff that dudes get away with, constantly cheating, and she'll take you back. So I don't think it's a matter of that as well. It's just a matter of, you know, how much that woman is into you, how much that woman loves you, and in terms of that. So whether you get with a white woman or not, you know, it's all about your preference. If that's your preference, same thing with you ladies. If you want to get with a white guy, you know, and that's your preference, and it's something completely different, I mean, go for it. Like I don't care personally. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I do care about though? I think it's wrong when you do it for the wrong reasons, period. If you're going to be with a white woman because you think that she's easy to get stuff off on, that's going to come back on you, right? Because you're misleading somebody, you're manipulating, you know, you're being deceiving, and that's karma. It's going to come back on you. If you, as a black woman, get with a white man or anybody else because you feel that you can get more stuff from them, and they will worship you, and you don't have to respect and love them or treat them any better, then that's going to come back on you. Do it for love. Don't do it, you know, I feel like if you do it for any other reason, it will always come back on you in one way or another.
You're right. You're absolutely right. You know what I mean? So any final thoughts, Avery? You know, because I know we've been on here for a while.
No, just like when this is really inappropriate, but I'm going to add this because it's the end, and maybe people that rewatch this will never catch this line. But I know, you know, they used to say back in the day that, you know, black girls are like, oh, black women don't. I'm not about to do that. Black women don't, when it comes to, you know, sexually, oral, swallowing, whatever, right? All those kind of things. Black women don't do it.
Right.
That's why, you know, and or it's beneath them, they do it. You just gotta find the right one. So don't base it on that either.
Yeah, I think the
they drink
guys,
kids too. That's really, now that's how late it is. Now it's like turned into like beats, like something uncut.
What did you say? What was that last part you said before that though?
I said they drink the kids too.
They drink the kids too. Yeah, I think. I don't know where that comes from. But I
see,
get
that's all the, you know, when we talk about the female and the males and that basic thought process, like, oh, a white man's gonna take care of me, and a white man's rich. Oh, and I can get over on a white girl. I feel like that is wrong. You know, I have friends that are white, men and women, and I feel like that is wrong. And when it comes to like, well, white women are like this in the bedroom, and they'll do oral, and they'll do this, and they'll do that. Black women do it too.
Yeah. Nah, I agree with you on that.
Do it for the right reasons. Do it for genuine reasons.
Right.
It'll be all good.
Right. Absolutely. I agree with that. I don't think that there's a specific, you know, this race does this and this race does that. Like, it's on how you know, I'm just saying, you know, but I agree with you totally. Yeah. So this has been dope. You know what I'm saying? I hope you guys have enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my lovely co-host Avery coming through with the truth, the factuals as usual from a woman's perspective. You know what I mean? And you know, you like who you like, and that'll be that, man. You know what I mean?
Love is love.
Love is love. Love is blind. You know, that's it. Love is blind. So hey, do your thing, man. We just wanted to bring this to you, man. Interesting topic. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. You guys make sure you subscribe to my channel, subscribe to Avery's channel for more content like this. You know, we coming at you every Tuesday. If you guys have any ideas or any topics you'd like us to discuss, make sure you shoot us an email. The link is in the description below. Shoot us email Avery. You know, her email is directly on her Instagram page, and she probably shout it out. You guys can shoot me an email as well. My link is in the description. You know, body parts about to start falling out. What the hell? Anyway.
Oh my goodness. Yep. Time to go.
Yeah. I don't know if you all was talking about Avery, but yeah.
I hope you weren't, but you know what? If I stretch one more time, something might.
Hey.
All right.
Say less. But you know, hey, it's been a good stream, man. I appreciate you guys rocking with us, man. This is the best show on YouTube right now. You can't get any righter. So make sure you guys tune in every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Time. We're always here unless we announce that we're not going to be here, for some unforeseen issues coming up. Like I said, subscribe to Avery's channel. The link is in the title of the video and the description. Subscribe to the channel, my channel as well. And if you want to book a session with Avery, if you're looking for some advice from a woman's perspective, fellas, as well, make sure you guys hit her up. Her contact information is there as well. And same thing with me. Purchase all the books and merch and dice, t-shirts, all that good stuff. Make sure you guys get. Was it 9,000? Have you hit 9,000 yet, Avery?
No.
Yeah, y'all.
I need to let something slip. These people been saying, "Oh, she's trying to go viral by supporting men." Okay, girl, whatever.
Yeah, y'all stingy. Y'all stingy as hell, Avery. I'm gonna get
there. I'm going to get there. I'm being more consistent on YouTube, guys. I used to just pop in and pop out. So I'm going to get there. You're going to get tired of seeing me, and we are going to get it up. And then JR and I are going to keep doing our thing.
Yeah, because I tagged you and I was like, why is Avery not at 9? We really got to get her up to 10,000 so that
10,000.
More stuff. So for sure, make sure you guys subscribe, hit that like button, man. Purchase all books and merch. Much mercy, peace, and blessings upon you all in abundance. And I appreciate you guys for rocking with us. And we're going to catch y'all on the next one, man. So you guys have a good night. We went a little bit longer, gave y'all a little bit extra sauce. So I hope you guys are thankful. Much gratitude to you as well. So with that being said, man, we are out of here. We'll catch you guys later. All right.